This video is sponsored by Aquashine Exteriors, professional jet washing and cleaning services across Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole, including Dorset, Hampshire and Wiltshire. Are you feeling it's time to get that driveway nice and shiny for when you come home, or are you wanting to get that guttering tidied up and spotless again? They deliver this, plus much, much more. Please head into the description below where you'll find their details for their website, including the socials, Facebook and Instagram. You also need to find their before and after portfolio. You can also call them on 07503 998 088 for a free quotation. Don't wait till next week. Don't think you'll do it another day. Pick up the phone, give them a call, check them out.
Good evening, Cherries fans. Welcome to our first watch along of the season, I believe. Certainly the first one hosted by myself for the big derby, the undoubted massive South Coast derby that is AFC Bournemouth versus Southampton. And with me for part of the show, we're going to go through the starting lineups. Maybe he'll come back on at half-time if he's got the opportunity, and we'll also have a bit of a chat at the end of the match. It's Aaron is joining me live. How are you doing, man?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, gutted not to be there, but yeah, I can't always get there, obviously. So, yeah, have to make do with Amazon Prime tonight.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm like you, not in Bournemouth, so can't get down there, particularly for a midweek fixture. But thankfully, they're all available to stream legally on Amazon Prime, so we can definitely do this watch along without any issues. If you're in the chat, if you are watching along with us, if you are going to have us in the background at all, please do let us know that you're joining in. Give us a hello in the chat, and we'll say hi. We've got AFCB fan already, James in. Hello, James. And we've got Cameron Meach as well, and Wing L giving his score prediction already of a 2-0, which was my score prediction as well from last night. Let's get straight to the lineups, I guess. So they're out here. We've got a completely unchanged side from AFC Bournemouth. Now, I mean, I trust Gary O'Neill. I think he's proven himself to make good decisions beyond what I would have made so far. And I'm sat at home on my chair. You're sat on the couch. We're not making those big decisions. But like we arranged in that preview, I certainly would have put in Zamora back into the squad. I don't see why you wouldn't. And I certainly don't think it's necessarily good to put Fredericks through 3 games in a row when he's not all that long back from injury. But it's a team that has got 4 points from the last 2 games. How do you feel about it, Aaron?
Yeah, well, I think you just summed up well. I mean, all those points are valid. But as you say, Gary O'Neill obviously knows the players obviously far better than we do, their condition, knows the tactics that we're going to apply, and certainly wouldn't be cutting his nose off to spite his face. So whilst, maybe even away from home, I thought potentially was the right thing to keep Smithy at left back and Fredericks at right back. I think, it's horses for courses, isn't it? Because I guess if you've got Adam Smith at right back and Zamura at left back, then you're going to be bombing further down the left-hand side. And if you've got Smithy at left back and Fredericks at right back, as we've seen when he bombs on and doesn't get penalties, we're going to be bombing more down the right-hand side. So I guess from that point of view, the balance is there. And Fredericks has done exceptionally well, rating very highly. And Adam Smith, for me, is the experience you need there. He's been playing really well. So I guess that's kind of the only thing is it's the natural side. We've spoken about this before about Adam Smith playing left back and not being able to sort of bomb as much as he has. But as you say, it's worked. And it's a successful team. It's an unchanged lineup. He obviously feels that Fredericks has got the legs in him, certainly to start the game. We'd spoke about Jayden Anthony maybe getting a go at home, but I guess if it's not broken, then don't try to fix it. And it's a formula that's working really well at the moment. So I'm not surprised. I think we said in the preview, I wouldn't be surprised if there were 1 or 2 changes, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we were unchanged, and that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do have players on the bench that I think can come on and certainly have an impact. And you see we've got Rothwell, who was on the bench last game, out as well, obviously, in the squad. Stanislas, who we both rate very highly, as I think most Bournemouth fans do. Pearson's back on the bench as well, which is good. And we've still got Kiefer Moore, Siriki Dembele, if he ever makes an appearance this season, and Jayden Anthony, who I think a few of us maybe sort of expected might come in to sort of maybe give Christie or Tavernier a rest. But, there's at least impact that can be had off the bench for us.
Yeah, I mean, I think that bench there's so many options, isn't there? If we're losing the game, it's a big if, but we have been behind in games this season and gone on to win them, so we're not going to overly panic. But yeah, the firepower, the likes of Kiefer Moore, if we need a goal, obviously an option up top, and if we're a goal up, obviously an option up there to hold the ball up and try and waste time in the corner like he did against Leicester. The quality of Stanislas, the apparent quality of Rothwell, obviously haven't really seen it yet, but we know what he can bring to the table. And then you obviously got the pace of Anthony, the pace of Dembele should we need them. And there are lots of options, as you say. And now Pearson's back, which is great because he's a great option to bring off the bench should you try to shore up the game and add a bit of stability into the central midfield. So yeah, options galore. We do know that Gary Neal, one thing about him is he doesn't really flash the substitutes much. He doesn't really use them until he really has to, and he's more of a kind of stick and twist type of person, which again, results wise, speaks for itself so far. So what we haven't really seen is if we are a goal or two down, which we haven't been under him yet, how much would he kind of twist and shake things up. So hopefully we're not in that situation tonight, and this starting 11 can do the business. So but yeah, plenty of options from the bench for sure.
Now, for Southampton, they have made one change from their last team that got a 1-1 draw against their team that got the draw last time out against West Ham. You have Duja Cheleta-Shah coming in for Armel Bella-Kotchap at centre-back, who I believe we were told by Jacob beforehand that he did get an injury, so wouldn't be available, and that was the change that he certainly predicted at the bare minimum, although he was a lot more uncertain. He did say that, he probably only named 3 certainties and the rest could well get changed up. But it seems as though having broken their losing streak, Ralph has decided to stick basically with the same team, done very similar to O'Neill, has just been forced to make one change. But we expect them to play in the 4-2-2-2 that Tanswell mentioned, but did say that he might pattern the midfield a bit more. And it's going to be interesting. I would hazard to say that we haven't played a formation like that this season, haven't played a team that are going to play quite narrow in terms of, you have Aribo on the right and El Yunusi on the left that will probably play quite narrow. I would hope that we dominate midfield, though, with this option. I think this is probably the best chance we've had all season to actually be in a position to dominate possession in a game. But having said that, Jacob Tanswell did mention last night, Bournemouth have done their best work by being underdogs. So, if we are going to dominate, are we going to find it more difficult this game? And it's going to be an interesting contest, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased at the outset that they haven't changed the formation, that they haven't gone to 3 centre midfielders, that thought they might try and pack that out and try and win that battle against Lerma and Cook. So we can certainly match them up in there. And as I said, they might tuck in, but then the likes of Christian Tavernier can also tuck in. So, and help out there if necessary. But yeah, no, look, Walcott's back on the bench. I think he's been ill. He hasn't played for months from what I can gather. So he's obviously an option from the bench, but how match fit he is, I don't know. Diallo's on the bench as well. Jacob also mentioned, that Ward-Prowse was constantly outnumbered in the middle of the pitch and trying to do everything himself. So obviously what we don't want to do is concede free kicks in and around the box tonight, because we wanted to try and limit that when we played Newcastle for Trippier and Maddison for Leicester. But this is the king of free kicks, and 9 times out of 10 it's going to go in the net. So we just don't want to, that's their best weapon. We just don't want to give them any chance of that. So one thing we don't do is dive in and around the box. Look, they got 2 strikers who arguably are championship strikers, really, the Adams and Armstrong. They're not setting the world alight, but Adams can be a handful for sure. But again, the sort of strikers where I'd like to think Meps and Senesi would be able to deal with. They haven't got particularly lightning pace. Gineppo's also on the bench, and I'm pleased to see him not starting because he could be quite tricky as well. So yeah, it's a narrow formation. He's either being stubborn, Ralph Hasenhüttl, or he generally believes this is obviously his best option. It hasn't been working particularly well. Or maybe, as you say, it was his last throws of the dice, and he's sticking with this formation and this set of players. But yeah, look, we need to get at them. Let's not worry too much about them, and we can try and impose ourselves on the game as early as we can.
Thank you to everyone that's joining us. I know that I'm sure you're appreciating us even more so than the commentary on Amazon Prime. Jermaine Defoe on there representing us, thankfully, and there has been an interview with Gary O'Neill. We've got Dominic Solanke on at the moment. Thank you to everyone that's joining us. We've got Dan Short has joined us, the vlogger 110 watching it along with us, and nice to see Scott dropping in. He's graduated from being a binman, and he's got his new job as a postman. So I hope things are doing all right. I'm sure we'll see him back in the Championship where he belongs at some point soon. As for everyone that's joining us, if you weren't with us for the preview, maybe if you want to just leave your predictions at the moment, we're only 15 minutes away roughly until kickoff. So, the tension is building. Aaron, how are you feeling generally? Do you feel about how we're going to do in this match? I know you said just before we went on air that you're starting to feel a little bit more nervous about it.
Yeah, I am nervous. I mean, it's Southampton for a start, but also, as I said, apart from a fantastic away win at St Mary's and a good win at home back in the Premier League in our first stint, we historically have underperformed against Southampton. I don't know if that's a intimidation thing or whether I don't know what it is, or just some sort of conscious thing. When we play Southampton, we've tended to be underdogs, and for the first time perhaps tonight we're not. So I'm naturally nervous before most games, but we are on an unbeaten run. They are on a horrible run, so we've got nothing to fear. But look, they've still got, as we said with any Premier League team, they've still got players who can hurt you. They've still got players if they do perform, which they haven't particularly recently, but if they do perform and they can hurt you, and we've got to be on our guard because they have got players who will cause us many, many problems. So yeah, nervous. I'm still predicting a win. I'm still quite confident we will get a win. But hopefully there's not too many scares for us tonight.
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed. I certainly have predicted a 2-0. I'm very confident how our defence is doing, and I think we'll be able to shut down an attack that doesn't really have a lot of punch to it at the moment. But I do think that the one thing I would say about keeping Smith at left back may well be related to what I mentioned before about Kyle Walker-Peters, who is one of their, probably most important player alongside Ward-Prowse.
Yeah.
But they're both two players. I think while Aribo definitely can produce something on his own, I think he's shown it before. Elyounoussi less so. Armstrong can finish quite well. Walker-Peters is a good creator, and Ward-Prowse is just someone that you just don't want to give a set piece to any distance outside of the 18-yard box. So, I'm looking forward to it. It's probably the most confident I've been going into a game so far this season. So much so, even Chris Sutton has predicted us a win, which is the strike of death for our unbeaten run, most likely. But I think getting one over Southampton will be. I'd like to think it's a bit of extra motivation for the players. Yeah. I hope the crowd will certainly add to that tonight. I think it's massive. I think 3 points tonight takes us to 16. I think we got two very tricky games coming up after that. West Ham away, who it's never easy, whatever form they're in, and Spurs obviously. So to try and get to that 16 points will be massive and take the pressure off those next two games for sure. But yeah, confident. Let's hope we can hit back. Well, I know you've got people around to join in with you and watching the game, so I will let you shoot off. But hopefully, we'll see you.
I'll pop on at half time
for sure. Words at half time, and then at the end of the game. But lovely to see you, Aaron, and enjoy the match.
Speak to you later. Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
So that leaves us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for those joining us. We've still got a little bit of time to go. Welcome to AFC Bournemouth, Germany. Thank you very much for joining and going with a 4-2. If you're still here, who do you think is going to be scoring? Because that's quite a lot of goals to concede as well as a lot of goals to score. So that one will be quite interesting. Well, at the moment we've got, let's see, it's about a 12-minute countdown. So everyone better get your drinks together. I'm sticking with the water tonight. Don't want to be hopping to the loo during the middle of this show. But 11 watching, thank you very much. Don't forget to hit the like button. Every like does help. Just keeps that almighty algorithm involved and making sure that people know to like us and people want to watch the shows. So we've got a bit of time, so might as well go for a bit of a Q&A if anyone's got any questions. I know I'm the tactics guy, as been said. I've got my own show in that one. If you've got anything that you think has been particularly interesting about Bournemouth this season, anything you want my opinion on, any tactical things that you think O'Neill has done that's interesting. I think we're going through an interesting phase at the moment with Parker getting a hell of a lot of stick from fans, obviously for his quotes from pre-season and going into the end of the Liverpool game, where he definitely signed his death warrant on the job. But I do think he did at least help us in sort of the defensive aspect. What I like that O'Neill has definitely encouraged the team to attack a lot more. But whilst Parker, I think, was far too negative, his at least strong emphasis on defence and making sure that we're as hard to beat as possible, even if he packed that in against Liverpool by playing us in a really odd 4-4-2, at least we're in a strong position. And for those of you watching, how many of you think that O'Neill should be getting the job? It's a difficult one at this point. I put up a poll recently, and I think most people probably want to wait till the World Cup, which is a good idea. It's tough to see the club giving him the job full time. I think we've heard reports that they would prefer an external candidate. That is where I thought we were probably going to go. I would much prefer O'Neill to stay within the club. But at the moment, he hasn't had to play any of... Well, actually, to be fair, no, that's not fair. We went to Newcastle and we played really well. We dug in. We had to dig in. It wasn't the greatest game to watch. Some great scenes being there in Newcastle when we scored. But we were a little bit lucky that Newcastle were not the greatest crowd you're going to find this season. It was probably one of the worst games to go to in terms of banter with the crowd, getting any response from the home side. The sort of funeral atmosphere of the place completely dulled down their reactions at all. So we made the most of catching Newcastle on an off day. I suppose coming up, we've got United not too far away. We've got Tottenham in a week on Sunday. Is that right? Yeah, week on Saturday. We've got Tottenham. Next game after this against West Ham on Monday. That's going to be another good test to see, like, can O'Neill keep taking this team forward? If he is by hook or by crook, if he's still unbeaten going into the World Cup, I would probably switch to wanting him to get the job. At the moment, I think I'm a little bit uncertain. AFC Bournemouth, Germany. You think Solanke to score 2, Senesi and Billing get 1. Senesi, tell you what, if he pops up with a bicycle kick finish from a free kick or corner, that is folklore right there. He will have a statue in all likelihood at some point within the next half a decade. Probably Aribo and Adams for Southampton. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's fair enough. I wouldn't be surprised to see Aribo. Aribo's and Adams. Oh, Che Adams, of course. Yeah, I mean, you never know. He might just handball it on the line like he did in the first few weeks. I still can't believe he managed to mess that one up. George Carter, thanks for joining us. You think O'Neill should get the job? I mean, you're along with at least, I would say, you're probably at least along with about a quarter of Bournemouth fans at the moment. There's a really that desire for him to get the job is definitely going to build over the course of the next few weeks. If he wins today, let's say going to West Ham, let's say he gets a draw there, and you're going into the Tottenham game, and I think if he was to get even a point against Tottenham, I think things would probably turn massively in his favour in terms of the fan base, and I think maybe the board might as well. Yeah, like I said, we might need to just wait until the World Cup, but we'll see. I think if he keeps doing a good job, then there's no reason not to. And I have had conversations on Twitter about this sort of like, it's a very different thing coming in as a temp from outside and doing well. It's much more likely that the players know exactly how they're going to be treated and continue to be treated. Whereas when you're a coach coming in as a manager, the relationship that you have with the players will change gradually. And as soon as things start to turn bad, you don't know how, the players now get a different side of you that they haven't before. As soon as O'Neill gets his first loss and maybe gets a couple of losses, hopefully he doesn't, but if he does, suddenly the players have to see the side of him that they didn't know before and they might not like. and that's one of the risks. But it's putting players in a bit of an odd position. Oh, VAR, yeah. God, I hope one of those turns our way at some point today. It's been so frustrating it's been so frustrating having to watch some really odd decisions. How we've been the only team, and it's happened twice, for a referee to go to the screen and then decide to stick with the decision that he's gone with, both of which have gone against us, is just incredible. And I'm hoping something changes today. If it doesn't even have to be that it gives us a penalty, as long as it stops them from getting one, or if it's a red card decision and it's given and it's not given, then it is in just something to turn those decisions in our favour, because it needs to happen at some point. Simon Mayer already saying give it to him. Like I said, that sentiment I think is definitely growing. What team wins tonight? Well, I hope it's Bournemouth. And I think that Bournemouth are the favourites, barely. I saw a what was it, Squawker, I think, that gave Bournemouth just the very slight edge in terms of a win in this match. Let me see if I can get this up. So Squawker has given Bournemouth a 37.2% chance for us and a 34.5% chance for Southampton. I do still think we're going to continue to be underestimated by most of the larger sort of footballing public fan channels and whatever else. But a couple more results and it's going to start turning our way. The thing for O'Neill at the moment is that he hasn't played any of the really big teams. Newcastle are on their way. Newcastle are almost there, but they were on a very off day. Everyone else that we've beaten so far is teams outside the big six. And I think, to be fair, we've been unlucky. We could, well, with a different decision, we would have beaten Brentford. With a different decision, we would have beaten Newcastle. We've overperformed massively, but we've also been very unlucky. So, like I said, this game I think is the first one where a lot of fans most fans I think are expecting a win. The next game against West Ham, we'll see what happens. Then against Tottenham, which I'll be there for, thankfully, which will be my first home game in probably half a decade. Be able to go and actually sort of see what he can produce against one of the biggest sides in the country. While the teams are lining up, just about to shake hands. We're out. The teams are out. Let's just have a look at the other games that are on. So can I scroll in a little bit here? Yeah, there we go. So Liverpool, West Ham, you would certainly expect Liverpool to be winning that. You've got Brentford, Chelsea. Again, you'd expect Chelsea to win that. Brentford might cause them issues, but Chelsea are on a 5-game winning streak. You'd certainly expect that one to come out with a Chelsea win. Newcastle, Everton, I think most Bournemouth fans are pretty happy to see Eddie Howe doing so well for Everton, for Newcastle. Although there is a lot of political things in the background that he's doing his best to ignore. Man United Tottenham is an interesting one. I don't expect Tottenham to lose that game, but Ronaldo I think has got a really good record against Tottenham, so we'll see what happens there. Fulham Villa, I'm thinking probably Fulham based on Aston Villa's poor form, and Leicester versus Leeds. Oh no, those were both tomorrow. I still expect Fulham to win that and Leeds probably to win that one, but those two are tomorrow. It's a decent round of fixtures, to be fair. Man United Tottenham's a big one. Liverpool West Ham should be interesting. And if I had two screens to watch something, I probably would be watching Newcastle. They're probably they're a favourite team of mine to watch at the moment. They're so aggressive, so all action. Oh, gotta take that off. So Danny, yes, we do. It's at Cherries Red Army. I personally do have an Instagram I don't really use, but for Twitter, it's at Jon Spark AFCB. So, based on previous experiences with this, I'm probably going to be a few seconds behind the rest of you. So, thankfully, it shouldn't be too big of a delay. So, if a goal goes in, you'll probably know about it before me. But hopefully you won't have the time to type goal in and ruin the surprise for me. Because I have to say, watching or keeping on top of the game on the weekend, I got told on Twitter about the first 3 goals before I saw them myself. So that was that was unfortunate. That's the problem with keeping on top of social media when you're on a bit of a delay on your games. Teams getting shown out on Amazon Prime. Don't forget, guys, please do, if you've got Amazon Prime, do make sure you're watching the game and keeping on top of that. Keep me on in the background if you fancy it, but you do have commentators there as well. But I'll be happy to keep giving my opinion on this. As the players line up, it is Southampton starting the game, kicking off. They're going from left to right. Bournemouth going from right to left, kicking at the Ted McDougall stand. And we're off. Long ball up to start the game, and Southampton win a throw-in on the right-hand side, a quarter of the way into halfway into our half. If you've got any questions throughout the match, please do put them in the comments. If you want my opinion on anything, obviously stuff that's happening live, I'll be reacting to. But just think of me as a guy that sat next to you on the couch, watching the game with you. I see Kirk chiming in as well. Let's go, Cherries. Absolutely, Kirk. I hope you are having a good time at the game. TTG Jaden. Yeah, I mean, certainly you could say we need to win. I would say that we should be trying to win. And like I said, I do think we're the favourites. Well, we'll see whether we do or not. It's a draw isn't the worst thing in the world, but I think at home you do need to be trying to win these games. At the moment, we've got Lewis Cook pushing into the box, falls to Dom Solanke. He takes a shot and he pulls it wide, but that's the first shot in anger. Dom Solanke on his left foot from 20 yards out. Yeah, a few seconds delayed. So I'm sure, like I said, most of you will probably see things happen a few seconds before me. But thankfully, there shouldn't be a huge delay, as I've had when trying to watch Sky Sports on these things. Thankfully, it should be pretty level. Jaden, I personally am not in Bournemouth. I'm from Ferndown originally, or grew up in Ferndown anyway. But at the moment, I'm in Manchester, so I don't have the chance to actually go to any home games, or very rarely do. I am travelling down to Bournemouth this weekend, though, so I'm hoping to catch the Tottenham game as we build up on the right-hand side. Tavernier with the ball, I think that is. Yep, jinking around 2 players, but loses it, unfortunately. Do want to see some better decision-making for Tavernier. And Southampton break. You've got a one-on-one Armstrong versus Mepham going into the box on the left-hand side. Mepham dealing with him, well, pushing on to Adam Smith. And lets him turn, shoot, and blocked again by Mepham before Lerma pushes it out, and Tavernier loses the ball again. We're still on the defence in our own 25-yard line as they're passing the ball around. Aribo gets past Adam Smith and is intercepted by Lerma, so that's good. Do want to see more. Want to see a bit more better decision making from Tavernier. And I've just noticed, is that Ryan Fredericks is playing at left back? I do not have we haven't had a corner, so that's interesting. I wonder why is Adam Smith playing at right back and Ryan Fredericks is playing at left back? That's so confusing. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see why he's done that tactically. It may well be because I mentioned in the preview that oh, hang on, actually, we win the ball high up. Christie passes it to Dom Solanke, lays off to Lerma. Momentum's dropped off a bit there, but Senesi's now got the ball on the left-hand side. Lerma passes it back to Mep and we recycle it. If he's going to keep the same formation, if he's going to keep the same players, why has he changed who plays where in terms of left and right back? Oh, actually, no, we're doing quite well here. Christie plays the ball through to Billing. What happened there? Ball played behind Billing for some reason, and I think he just left it, assuming someone would be there. That's an interesting one. I'm wondering, are we playing a back five? This is really odd at the moment. Christie and Tavernier both look like they're playing on the right-hand side, with Adam Smith playing at right centre-back, I guess, and Ryan Fredericks playing at left wing-back. We're playing. This is really interesting. That we're playing the same players, but it looks like we're playing a different formation. We haven't just swapped Ryan Fredericks and Adam Smith. We are literally playing a different formation. We're playing with a 5 at the back. That's a foul there by Lewis Cook, I think, on Joe Aribo, with a free kick about 35 yards out. We don't want to be giving away those silly free kicks. Oh, no, there's Adam Smith, runs straight into him. That's poor from Adam Smith again. Why? This is so confusing. It was talked about a lot. We were talking about this a lot beforehand. Yeah, Aaron. Sorry. 5-3-2. I'm really, really confused. Yeah, thank you, AFC Bournemouth, Jimmy. I've blocked that now. Ball in from Ward-Prowse, was it? Or someone put in, it's gone. It just about missed everyone and gone out of the back post. It has to be Ward-Prowse, basically. That was a really good free kick, and no one jumped for it. Wonderful ball in, and Billing does really well to block. I think that's Chiletassar, whoever it is, he's blocked at the back there. This is really odd in terms of what we're trying to do. It's Ryan Fredericks is playing a left wing back. Oh, now we're actually on a good attack. We've got Tavernier on the right hand side. He takes a shot and he gets blocked, but we've got a corner out of it. This is so weird. It might well work though. I have a feeling that we're basically just going to try and play on as much width as possible. You've got Ryan Fredericks holding very wide. You've got Tavernier holding very wide. And you've got Christie that is going to be there as well. We played a short corner with a routine. Ball goes in and cleared at the back post. But Cook plays it back to Senesi. Senesi puts it into the box. And it falls to a Southampton player. I think what O'Neill is looking to try and do here is play on the fact that Southampton play quite relatively narrow. You know, you've got El Yunusi on the left-hand side and Aribo on I think they're the other way around. I think Aribo is actually playing on the left. But regardless, you tend to have their attacking midfielders play quite narrow. So by having wing-backs, you're forcing them to move out of positions that sort of they want to be in, as it were. And that allows you to have that additional space, whether that be out wide or if you force them wide, you can then create space in the middle. But I don't know. We'll have to see it because, I mean, Fredericks is playing a left wing back and Tavernier is playing a right wing back. I know Tavernier was brought in with a good option of having playing a wing back. Oh, and now we intercepted again high at the pitch. Ball played through from Christie, but overhit it, and Solanke can't get there. It falls to Gavin Bazunu. Yeah, it's Christie playing sort of. Well, it's possibly a 5-3-2. It might be more of a 5-4-1, but we'll see. Southampton now on the attack. We've had a ball intercepted. El Yunusi tries to play the ball through. Che Adams wins it off Senesi. Needs to be a little bit stronger there. And that's El Yunusi keeps going, plays it out wide to the left back, who heads it in, and it's a goal. Oh, dear. Not a good start. Not a good start at all, unfortunately. I think I'm a little bit disappointed in Senesi not getting at, not winning the ball when he had the chance to early on in this move. Because the ball starts out with El Yunusi playing it through to Adams, who gets in front of Senesi, which maybe shouldn't do. El Yunusi keeps going. He's not tackled. There's not enough work there done by Lewis Cook either. Really good ball in, and Senesi's caught on his heels. That's kind of two mistakes from Senesi there, I would say. Very disappointing. And just too much space allowed on the cross as well. Again, we were talking about, as I was mentioning, we are seemingly trying to play against opposition a lot. I think O'Neill tries to set up his team to go up against his opposition teams rather than necessarily always looking to play our game. When you're not going to be the best team when you're not the best team, and more often than not, you're not going to be the best team, I think that's fair enough. But today, we're playing against a team that's out of form, not playing well, 1 point in 5. Why not just pick your thing and go? Very frustrating. Very frustrating. But that also comes from their left-sided position, where we've got Tavernier playing a very unfamiliar right wing-back position. So, this might be one that really comes back to bite O'Neill, but we'll see. We're on the attack now. Christie on the right-hand side plays it to Tavernier, who plays in the cross. Oh, it's such a good cross, and no one's there. Falls to Tavernier on the left-hand side. He clips it back in. Falls to Billing. No, it doesn't. And now we're back. Senesi heads it down to Lerma, and we've got the ball. True, you do have one goal scorer, correct? I mean, heck, you better have put some money on that 4-2. We'll see. But very frustrating start. That was not even 9 minutes in, and we're 1-0 down. This is very frustrating. So far, it's early in the game, plenty of chance to come back. We have gone 1-0 down before already, and we've got a chance here. So Nessie plays it long. It falls to Billing, and he has to work harder there. He got out-muscled by Carl Walker-Peters, who, a foot shorter than him. Need Billing to do a little bit more there. Well won there from the clearance by, I think that was Mepham. My mic might be in the way of the players occasionally, so I might have to guess what the player is with that. Just assume who it is. I can't see the right side of my screen fully. Well, that sapped the energy out of it. I can still hear chanting, but I'd imagine that's probably Southampton fans. I've got the volume very low, so I can't hear all that much. It's very, very, very odd having seen Fredericks on that left-hand side there. We'll see. He's got a left wing back in Fredericks, who's right-footed, and a right wing back in Tavernier, who's left-footed. I don't know what he's trying. I mentioned that I think I know what he's trying in terms of trying to use width to help generate space, which you can use in either direction, provided you support your players enough. Oh, that's poor from Lewis Cook. But it's not our game. We played well in a 5-4-1, 5-2-3 against Villa, or at least we defended well and countered nicely. 2 goals from set pieces, essentially, but did decently against Villa when we were under Parker. But every other time we played in the back five, it's not worked. It hasn't been often, but our game is 4-3. Our game from the Championship is 4-3-3. Let's try and work that as much as we can. But if you want to work a 4-2-3-1 as we have the last few games, that's fine. I just don't understand, when you've got a team that's unbeaten in 6, why you've changed the formation to deal with the worst team on form in the division. It makes no sense. We'll see. I'm hoping he pulls a. I'm hoping if this continues, he pulls a Tyndall and changes things at half time, and it all just works, because it's what we should have started with. Southampton on the ball again with El Yunusi, is about 25 yards out. We're looking to shoot, then passes to Kyle Walker-Peters, who's very central. And I think that might be why we're looking to play with width. But Che Adams just dived under a tackle from Fredericks, but now it's El Yunusi on the right-hand side. Walker-Peters again. I can hear oh, there you go. Fantastic tackle from Phil Billing, finally doing what the crowd wanted and getting into them. Ryan Christie, and there you have Tavernier bursting down the right-hand side. There's that pace that you want to use. Oh, that's got to be a foul, ref. Thank you. Surely a yellow card. Yes. There he is in the book. That is what we need more of, certainly. And I think this is very much what we want from Tavernier and Fredericks, just that lightning pace. That's the left back, Romain Perrault. I'm guessing that's how it's pronounced. I think that's the left back, yeah. Perrault on a yellow. So hopefully Tavernier keep getting into him and just make that happen. That dribbling is really important for us in getting us up the pitch. He's got to keep doing that. So we've got Lewis Cook and Tavernier over the ball on the right-hand side. Put in by Lewis Cook, not good enough. Doesn't beat the first man. Headed back into the box, over the top. Solanke down to Billing. Oh, what a save. Offside? Offside. Don't know what to think about the Bournemouth kit. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Let me just see who was offside. No one was offside there. And, oh, Billing's miles off. Come on, man. You've got to know what you're doing. Yeah, it's an interesting one. But to be fair, I don't think the Southampton fans care too much right now. Really good save from Bazunu there. Wouldn't have counted anyway. But good thing you saved it, because I wouldn't want to have celebrated that with it being immediately ruled out for offside. Oh, that's a good challenge there from... Is that... Has Fredericks gone to the right? Or am I not noticing the numbers there? Is that? No, that's Tavernier still. Yeah, it was good. It's a good side tackle from Tavernier to almost win the ball back, but doesn't quite. And Adam Smith has brought down Che Adams on the halfway line from a long ball. They have switched now. Okay. I mean... Oh, yeah. No, that is Fredericks. Yeah, definitely. I don't know why they started the wrong side. Everything about that is just the wrong side for both of them. It's so weird. I mean, I'm guessing it's part of the plan, in a way. I'm sure we would have rather we not be behind, but I don't know. I really don't know about that one. That's going to be something that I hope O'Neill gets quizzed about, because it's such a weird thing to play your right wing back at left wing back and your left wing back at right wing back, just quite clearly. So Nessie got away with that one, bullied off the ball by Armstrong too easily and almost lost the ball there. But we do have a throw in our half. Throw in long to Billing. Solanke takes it down and almost gets past his defender. Billing almost tries a quick throw. No, there we go. Senesi throwing it short. Now I'm not too fussed. I think about playing with a back five. I guess I think Smith works really well as a right centre back. I think he's better as a right centre back than he's as a right back, and he generally tends to be very defensive. But yeah, that Fredericks having it just still continues to baffle me. Long ball down the line to Fredericks, heads it on to Christie, but is blocked and cleared. Mepham. Nope, that was Lewis Cook, wins that really nicely. Heads it down to Mepham, who passes to Senesi, who shifts it to Tavernier and wins a free kick off El Yunusi. That's another interesting one. I always thought El Yunusi was the left-sided one and Aribo was the right-sided. They're the other way around, but I haven't watched much of Southampton, so never mind too much on that one. Long ball over the top. Solanke good control, taking that right channel again. He tries a nutmeg, doesn't pull it off, and we lose the ball, but do get it back. Good pressure from Tavernier. Gets it to Senesi, who has lost. No, he hasn't. No, he does get the throw in. Does he? I think Bournemouth have got the throw in. Yes, they do. About halfway into Southampton half. Throws it back to Senesi and we'll recycle it. I think it's definitely something that we've mentioned that I mentioned before, that Bournemouth haven't had a lot of possession this season, so they're not used to having to create chances in that fashion. Oh, we were up the pitch. Fredericks puts in a cross. That's going to be the keeper's. Oh, no. Billing goes up for it. No foul, quite rightly. Well done, Billing. Put himself in the way there. Bazunu comes out and punches well. I thought the keeper was just going to come and claim that, but no, he punches it. Billing does the right thing. He goes for it and just makes it awkward. We've got Tavernier with the ball on the left-hand side. We're about 30 yards out. Lerma to Billing. Billing back to Lerma. Some decent movement from Tavernier. He's got a little bit of space on the left-hand side, taking his man on. No, he passes it against his opposition. And Billing goes up against Walker Peters. Loses out, but it is a throw-in right in the corner for Southampton. I wouldn't say it's necessarily disrupted that partnership so much because they're still playing sort of Senesi on the left, Senesi left of Mepham, and Senesi. I mean, I think Senesi is the one that sort of, you can say, makes a couple of small mistakes there, but I would say that no one closes down the cross well enough on that right hand side leading up to the goal. Senesi could have just not let that attack happen by being stronger, going up against Che Adams in making sure he wins the first ball, but just sort of mistimes it a little bit. I think maybe the ball holds up a little bit on the grass and loses out, and then he's just caught flat-footed. When the ball's put in the box, he's just on his back foot and doesn't deal with the cross at all. Allows Che Adams to get in there. But Christie's done some really good work to get the ball back in their half. Lewis Cook on the ball. That's poor from Lerma. And now the counter is on. You've got Adam Armstrong pushing up the right-hand side. Chris Meppen's going out to meet him, but Tavernier's come back, worked really hard there to get back and has halted that. But Ward-Prowse is on it. You cannot claim a handball for that. Grow up. Tavernier blocks the cross from Ward-Prowse. And now it's with Billing, Senesi. Billing's in the corner. Needs to make the right pass here. We'll just get it long. There you go, a bit longer. And that's put out for a Bournemouth throw. Tavernier does really well there. It was great to see him working hard, which is what you want. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I left that up on the screen. Yeah, showing it again in the replay. Tavernier's got his arm tucked into his chest. It comes off his elbow, but you're not going to get a handball for that. A throw-in's been taken that's gone back out again, but we haven't seen it because the producer has decided to show that replay and then focus on Ward-Prowse for no reason. Aaron says, get more up with Dom in a conventional 2 in a game like this, perhaps. I mean, maybe, but I don't see any reason why you can't just let Dom play his game and why Bournemouth can't play ours. I think Senesi and Mepham are good enough as 2 centre-backs to go up against 2 strikers in Armstrong and Adams. We've taken a quick free kick here. It slowed down a little bit. Dom Solanke won it. Originally, he's back on the ball. Lerma's just taking it past his man, which is lovely to see. Puts it wide right to Fredericks, who has Lerma as an option. He passes it to him. Fredericks tries the 1-2. Lerma tries the 1-2, but it goes out for a throw-in to Bournemouth. I think O'Neill very clearly wants things to go a bit faster. It hasn't been great from Bournemouth so far, really. Not many chances of note. Oh dear, AFC Bournemouth Germany. That's yeah, we've all done that. Don't worry. I hope we got another pizza in the freezer. Good work there by Che Adams. He's a tough one to deal with. Lovely tackle from Lewis Cook. Unfortunately, it just goes free and it falls to a Southampton centre back. We've got a lot of hard work again from Christie. Need a little bit more pressure applied there. If Christie's gonna start initiating that press, we need everyone else to join in. At the moment, it's a little bit inconsistent, and I do think that's coming from a formation that we haven't played in half a dozen matches. Possibly also due to the fact that the team hasn't changed as well, and maybe there's a little bit of tiredness coming in. But that's exactly the same thing with Southampton, and they should be far more demotivated. But at the moment, they're in the lead, and I'm sure they'll be riding on that wave. Another crossing from the left, poor cross blocked by Adam Smith, cleared high, and falls back to Fredericks again. Christie on the ball, nice, takes past one, loses it to the centre back for the other, but that's just hoofed long, and Neto will get that. Lewis Cook caught on the ball, gets lucky there. Lewis Cook has been a little bit slow, I think. Your Billing has been very slow, but really good work from Tavernier. Just past the ball, man. Gets lucky. Gets very lucky that he wins a free kick there. That's something that Tavernier needs to work on. He needs to understand when to pass the ball, because he's really good at taking it past the first guy and even the second guy, but then just doesn't get his head up. Well, I tell a lie. He does get his head up, but just doesn't understand that he's got a man up his backside. So he's lucky he gets away with being fouled there. We've got another free kick opportunity. 35 yards out-ish? No, more like 40. Flicked in at the back post. Lerma heads down. Easy save. Good work from Lerma there, though. I think the idea of that probably would have been to head that higher. So Lerma makes a good run around the back post towards the far side. Heads it back, but heads it down. And it's really easy for Bazunu to get that ball. I'm hearing, now that I've stopped talking, I'm hearing Glenn Hoddle is on co-coms, which is an interesting one. I would have thought he'd been picked I would have thought he'd get Man United, Tottenham personally. But as he mentioned, Bournemouth just haven't made any chances yet. To be fair, Southampton have had one chance and they've scored it. But they've looked a lot more comfortable on the ball, higher up the pitch, I would say. Bournemouth really haven't produced anything of note. We've won the ball quite in their half again. Senesi, poor pass. If we're going to win the ball high up, particularly if you've got one of your centre-backs coming that far up, you need to be doing more with the ball in that position. Our press has worked, but we've just done nothing with it. And we're not even pressing that hard. We had another opportunity there. About 10 seconds ago, Ryan Fredericks gets onto a loose pass, tries to nutmeg the guy in Aribo in response, and messes it and loses the ball immediately. Like, if we're going to win the ball in their half, at least try and keep it. Lovely ball in behind to El Yunusi. Fantastic slide tackle from Chris Mepham. Senesi a little bit caught out there. Admittedly, it was a really good ball in behind, and I think that's El Yunusi that was running onto it. Made a really good run, but Yeah, Senesi just caught a little bit there, but Mepham comes across, does really well. Fantastic block. Kirk's had the time to message in and join. Yeah, just not got ourselves in the game yet at all. And I do see a formation change happening at halftime. I would be very surprised if he doesn't. Oh, and we've got Kyle Walker-Peters getting in the box. He puts it in and almost a goal. How on earth has Aribo not got enough of a touch on that to put it past Neto? That's a golden chance. We got Solanke and I think Tavernier were beaten by Kyle Walker-Peters far too easily in the corner. Everyone just looks, I mean, you mentioned, I think it might have been in reference to Lewis Cook, Aaron saying a little bit lethargic. The whole team looks lethargic. It's really weird. Lewis Cook passes it to Phil Billing, who's far out, takes a shot. Good save. It wasn't in the corner by any means. It's nothing like a shot against Forest, but it needed saving. And Bazunu, I'd imagine that was moving a bit in the air. Oh, God, does that move? Blimmin' hell. Blimmin' heck. I don't know. Probably not good to say that HE double hockey sticks on YouTube. Well, I mean, we've got another corner. Really nice, good shot from Billing, forces save. You've got Tavernier taking this corner on the left-hand side, so we're going to have an out-swinging corner. Put in the box, lofted in to the back post, falls to Lerma, who maybe was meant to hit that first time, takes it around, is looking to get a corner or a cross in, and he gets a throw. So, at least we're still high up in their position. Takes a quick throw. Senesi heads it down, gets to Christie, takes the shot first time, gets blocked quite comfortably. And the ball's back down to Tavernier and hits Chris Mepham, who's reached the halfway line. Long ball around to Lerma. This is nice. Oh. Lerma heads it down to Fredericks, who completely miscontrols it and goes straight out for a throw-in. I have to say, looking at SofaScore at the moment, it has quite rightly shown a. Let me get it right here. It has quite rightly shown us in a 5-5-3-2. Fredericks and Tavernier have now swapped, obviously. In the previous bit, in the preview, it was showing Fredericks is by far our lowest rated player that was starting the team. And I do think that he has had his good moments, but he's been relatively indifferent for the chunks of the games. And I don't think he's got the consistent attacking presence that Zamora does. But, he's got the opportunity to change my mind on that one as this game goes on. Aaron, again, saying this really isn't working. So far, I definitely agree. We are just about to hit 32 minutes on 31:59 and 32 now on my screen. As Solanke gets a free kick off Ainsley Maitland-Niles, who's wearing number 3. I don't know, why did he take number 3? Central midfielder. Versatile central midfielder, I suppose, but I don't think he plays left back much. It's not been great so far. And I do think change formation, that weirdness of having Tavernier on the right and Fredericks on the left for the first 15 minutes certainly didn't help as far as I'm concerned. And stat just showing up on the screen. Last 5 minutes, 69%. Nice. Southampton possession. It's not like Bournemouth haven't won the ball up the pitch either as well. And again, not great from Fredericks. But just want to see some more creativity and just want a little bit more invention. Which is not the first time we've said that this season. But certainly, thank you, Ref. Backing into Chris Mepham, who, again, Chris Mepham, perfect game so far. No issues with him whatsoever. Winning all his headers. Not had to duel much with the Southampton strikers, but he's been typically impressive. And now we've changed formation again. Oh my God. Change formation again. Adam Smith is now at left back, as opposed to right centre back. Oh, lovely turn there from Christie. Just about keeps hold of the ball. Still so confused by what O'Neill is thinking at the moment. I can pick out maybe what he's trying to do with some of these things, but actually forget about that at the moment. Ball on the left-hand side. Oh, wonderful work there from Billing. That could have been dangerous, but he is probably got a very sore back right now. But Bournemouth keep going. Lewis Cook up the pitch. Maybe could have played that right, but he plays it left to Tavernier instead, who finds Solanke down the left channel. Up against 1-2 in Walker Peters as well. Plays it back to Smith. Inside to Lerma, who doesn't really have many forward options. Does find Christie. Gets it back to Cook, who I thought might shoot there. And Tavernier gets a foul. That was a little frustrating in terms of you had Solanke coming out left. And then once he had passed the ball backwards, I don't expect him to bust a gut to get into centre of pitch all the time anyway. But Billing, I think, may well still be down injured or still getting up, so he wasn't up the pitch. And there was very little. Lerma looked forward, and he had no one in front of him apart from Christie out the corner of his the right and the corner of his eye. Did we buy that? Did Tavernier buy that one a little bit? No, it's just Adam Smith and Walker Peters. Having handbags. Jaden, how long till half time? We're in the 36th minute. Yes, 35-30 about to hit. So we've got 9.5 minutes plus stoppages, of which there haven't been many. I haven't seen Billing yet. I'm assuming he got back up. He was down. He won the ball really well on the edge of our box, but looked like he landed very awkwardly on his back and stayed down. But play continued, so I'm guessing he's back up again. Yeah, there he is. So we've got Tavernier and Cook on this, 25 yards out. Decent position with the left. Lewis Cook going to shoot, and it's well over. Needed something more like a Billing Moore combination, I think, maybe from that one, or Stanislas, actually. It's pretty lethal from that position. Yeah, that was a promising free kick, George, but unfortunately, Lewis Cook has never shown himself, as far as we're aware, has never been an attacking. Well, he's never really scored goals, let alone been much of a free kick taker. Yeah, Cook playing rugby. That was a comfortable 3 points in rugby. George, get Zamora and Anthony on for Tavern Fredericks. I'd certainly expect Zamora to come on for Fredericks. If we're going to be playing a back four now, if we've gone through 3 formations already in this match and nothing is working so far, I don't see why you wouldn't get Zamora on, put him at left back. As for Anthony, I don't think we'd be taking off Tavernier anytime soon. Tavernier's dribbling is so important for getting us up the pitch, and we really need him. We really need him to help us progress. And he wins free kicks for us. He's won a few for us already. That free kick that we just had was because Tavernier won the ball, won a free kick rather. Senesi doing well to hold off his man. Ellis, I live in Manchester, so I'm a Bournemouth fan. I'm an exile, but I'm not going to be able to get to the game. And there are plenty of Bournemouth fans that aren't able to get to games. You know, as much as Bournemouth probably have enough fans to fill a stadium that's more like a 15, 17,000 seater at the moment, we only have a 12,000. So, well, it's not even 12 when it's a league game. It's more like 11 and a half, 11.2 thousand. Amazon might be a bit behind from the sounds of it. The broadcast takes a little bit of time to get through. So, yes, it's behind live, obviously by 30 seconds to a minute, probably. Suki Kalada 1-2-3 missed the Che Adams goal. What happened? we won the ball in their half, but lost it pretty quickly again. One pass put through to El Yunusi completely broke our midfield. El Yunusi plays the ball down the line to Che Adams. And Senesi looks like he's going to win it, but then sort of the ball maybe doesn't travel as fast as he's expecting. He loses out in the tackle. Adams recycles it back to El Yunusi, who gets past Billing and Cook without much of a challenge. Passes it through to, I think it's Perot on the left hand side. I'm pretty sure it was the left back that put in the cross. There was no one there close enough to block the cross. Ball gets put in, and Senesi's caught on his heels. Che Adams is on the move and has to jump backwards slightly and puts a really, really good header. It's a very, very good finish into the right hand side. Neto's got no chance, but we had about 3 opportunities to stop that move and failed in every single one of them. So it was very disappointing. Graham, hello. I say hello. Nice to see some names I'm not familiar with. FC Bournemouth, still percentage-wise, still have the most empty seats. I mean, yes, but let's say it was 1,000 empty seats in every stadium. That would be the highest percentage for us. Bear in mind also, we technically have a whole block of empty seats that separate home and away fans. So those will also get counted towards our empty seats. So we're always going to be dealing with it. Graham scores on. As long as I'm not showing other people's stuff, other people's comments, the scoreline will always be there. I've just missed. Oh, Ralph's very angry. I just missed a bit of play with Adam Smith handballing it. I'm not sure what happened in the build-up to it. We almost had a chance there, but Ryan Christie loses the ball, unfortunately. We've got a throw-in high up their side of the pitch. I'm going to be interested to see to hear Kirk's take at the end of the game, and hopefully Aaron will be able to join me at half-time. I keep giving my opinion, but it's certainly not worked so far. But Tavernier's pushed forward now, and rush of blood to the head. Tavernier does well, takes it past 1 or 2 players, is in a position on the left-hand side of the box. Solanke hasn't pushed up to support because he's wanted a deeper ball, and he's just decided to shoot, and he's wildly high and wide. Yeah, I've no doubt. But then again, like I said, a chunk of those are going to be, as far as I'm pretty darn sure, a chunk, if not all of those, or the vast majority of them, are going to be in that block that separates the home and away fans. There's quite a few seats. There's not 1,000 seats there. There's definitely quite a few other empty ones on average. But we still have, percentage-wise, it's not a surprise that we've got the highest percentage of empty seats. Maitland-Niles squaring up to Chris Mepham for whatever reason, and I love that Chris Mepham there wasn't even paying attention to Maitland-Niles. He was that close to him, or about here because he's a bit shorter, and Mepham's looking at the assistant ref for about 5 seconds before realizing someone's actually squaring up to him. And Maitland-Niles was never winning that little thing, but I have no idea what happened. Waiting for a replay to see what happens here, but Chris Mepham is probably going to be getting a yellow card. And I'd imagine Maitland-Niles will as well. I love that. Chris Mepham gets a yellow card and immediately just goes, "What about him?" Maitland-Niles is also given a yellow card. I still need to see what the hell happened. I have no idea why they were squaring up. Oh, I don't know what Chris Mepham's doing there. Chris Mepham slides in, ball's off the pitch, and Chris Mepham just slides into and almost puts in a horrible tackle on Maitland-Niles. That one was weird. I mean, same. It's a good thing. Good thing he didn't really catch Maitland-Niles there. Otherwise, that would have been a straight red. There's no doubt that would have been a straight red. George, at this point, the worrying part is they're going forward. We don't look like we're going to score. Halftime formation. I say halftime formation change. He's changed the formation twice already in this game. I say formation. Players are playing in different positions, and he's done that twice already this match. O'Neill. Still don't get the starting setup. No clue why he's playing Fredericks and Tavernier quite clearly on the wrong sides. Changes it after 15 minutes. Then after another 15 to 20 minutes, he changes it again and puts Adam Smith at left back, Fredericks to right back, gets Tavernier to play further up. And we're now playing in the 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1 that everyone thought we would start in. So it's been a waste of 35 minutes for Bournemouth for the most part, until O'Neill finally thought, actually, you know what, why don't we just play our game? And our game hasn't started yet. So very frustrating. Update from around the grounds. Penalty for West Ham against Liverpool. Ooh, interesting one. Actually, let me just bring up the current scores around the grounds. We've got Liverpool 1-0 up, but that's there we go. Missed the penalty. Well done, West Ham. Liverpool 1-0 up. You got Brentford drawing 0-0 and Newcastle beating Everton 1-0. Man United Tottenham doesn't kick off. Is about to kick off. So I think at the moment it's heading pretty much as I think most of us would have expected, although perhaps some of us might thought Chelsea would have scored by now, but we'll see. We are 30 seconds into only a minute of added time, which does make sense. And not really too much issue dealing with long balls, clearing them. A little bit haphazard, but Senesi putting himself about, which is good to see. Shame that we were on attack. I thought we were on an attack there, and I knew the whistle was about to blow. But it did get blown, and we are in half time. Let me just change the banner. That's a ticker. I might just put that at the bottom so you can see. Not great at the moment. Got to say, not all that great. Doesn't help. Like I mentioned, we start off in a 5-3-2. We change our wing back. We swap our wing backs after 15 minutes because it's not working. We change our formation again after another 15 to 20 minutes because it's not working. And surprisingly enough, we go back to the formation that we should have started with, but it's still not working because the players really haven't got going. I think this is a huge mistake from O'Neill at the moment. Just massive mistake. He pulled a Pep in a Champions League final, completely overthought things, and rather than just sticking what Bournemouth can do, what Bournemouth are good at, he's just tried to be too clever for his own good. I've made comments before about the fact that I find it a bit odd that we haven't just played our game at the start of more matches, but in this one, that comment is more relevant than ever. Jacob Tanswell is proving a bit of a poet in terms of he certainly expected Southampton and Ralph Hasenhüttl more than anyone to be able to pull something out of the bag when he's under the most amount of pressure. And so far, Southampton are doing just that. Having said that, it's not like Southampton have done a lot. They haven't made a huge amount of chances. If we pop up SofaScore, the stats at the moment are showing that Southampton are slightly leading in possession. Total shots is 6-3 in Bournemouth's favour, but shots on target is 2-1 in Southampton's favour. The second one, I think, is the second one was a big chance. I think it was a Rebo that gets into the box and from a Carl Walker-Peters cutback should have scored, but doesn't get a good enough contact with it and puts it straight at Neto. They've performed a lot more fouls, but we haven't really made anything of our free kicks. It's a difficult one and a frustrating one. Right. To give me a chance and the rest of you a chance to go for a quick break, let's just I'll put up a halftime screen and I'll come back to you with more reaction in 60 seconds or so. We'll see you then. And we're back, guys. Right, so for half-time, I welcome back Aaron Kaye into the stream. Aaron, how on earth are we in this position? How did you find that?
So frustrating. It's I told you before, it's Southampton syndrome. It's the performance. We can lose football matches, and we still might obviously not lose this, but the performance is flat. The formation, we changed 3 times in the first half. I mean, what's all that about? Everything was off and weird from the start. I mean, this is a team who are down on their knees, who the manager's on the verge of sacking. The players aren't playing for him. Their morale is rock bottom. Our morale is should be sky high. And I'm not sure what, we didn't even match them up because they don't play a 5, but I'm not sure what the thinking was there. If you're going to play a 5, I'm not against a 5 if the system works well, but then, Fredericks on the left and Tavernier on the right. It was almost as if it was set up to confuse and bamboozle Hasenhüttl, which I'm sure it did. But then it's, where's the consistency? But the players not sure where they're playing. Christie was playing centrally but not getting on the ball. Senesi looked, Mepham's play well. Senesi's looked all over the place because he's kind of playing he's now played in 3 different sort of positions already, shunted across. It just all looked wrong. The lethargy, Billing looks lethargic. I know he often does, but it's just not. It's just all flat all over the pitch, and quite right for the crowd are flat because I'm not surprised. But it's really frustrating. And I said I've got so much time for Gary O'Neill, but it's times like this when I think he's such an analytical coach that sometimes he overthinks things. And this is a case where he's really overthinking things to the extent that not just changing the formation, but then within that change of formation, switching natural players to the other side, it's just all wrong. And I only hope that the second half mirrors like Leicester. We've come back from 1-0 down before, obviously Nottingham Forest. We know we can play much better than that. Yeah, very, very, very bamboozling. And I really hope this time is that, we've got so much firepower on the bench. Now, Gary O'Neill doesn't seem to be one to twist too much and really shake things up with a whole host of substitutions. But if this carries on like this and we end up, not changing, carrying on playing like this without any luck, then, and not making changes, that for me will be that's probably the first time I'll be really critical of Gary O'Neill. But look, we've got the second half to come. He might change things around, might have a storming second half performance and win the game. But right now, it's all wrong. It's just all wrong.
Yeah, I think what I would say about sort of starting with the 5-3-2, and I think within the first 5 minutes, there are a couple of moments where it very definitely generated the space that I think he was probably hoping to get, because there was certainly a time where Fredericks ended up with a lot of space on the left-hand side, and there were a couple of times where Christie ended up with a lot of space on the right-hand side. The problem is that idea completely falls apart by having players on the wrong side, because sorry, it wasn't Christie, it was Tavernier. Tavernier ended up in one particular time, he ended up with quite a chunk of time on the right-hand side, where if you have Fredericks or you have Smith or you have Stacey, they take the ball, bomb down the line and cross the ball. But what does Tavernier do? First touch, comes immediately inside, walks into two Southampton players. And once after the first sort of 5 to 10 minutes, that situation, the players aren't stupid. Hasenhüttl isn't stupid. None of our wingbacks got any of that kind of time from about the 7th minute onwards. Yeah. So Southampton changed things up a bit. Just made sure that they were pressing in the right way. Made sure the attackers were the wide forwards were pulling back to help deal with that. And none of our players ended up in that kind of space again. Within 15 minutes, he swapped them round because, I think it's pretty odd just having Tavernier on the right and Fredericks on the left in the first place. But then within another 15 to 20 minutes, he's changed it again because the 5-3-2 definitely isn't making anything happen. So it's just so weird. We're now in the formation. We finished that game in the formation we all expected the team to start with the exact same players in that position we expected to start with. But funnily enough, they're not playing because they haven't really performed for the first 30 minutes because they don't know what they're doing.
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say, because you're right. Look, we have gone to formation for the last sort of 10, 12 minutes, but it hasn't improved anything, is it? It still looks flat. So this has to be a game where he shakes things up. Get Zamora on, get Anthony on potentially. Something's not. Look, Southampton obviously going to sit deeper and deeper. They're winning the game. They're going to hold on to their entitled to do that. It's going to make it even harder for us. Going 1-0 down. I worked with a guy at Southampton who said going 1-0 down to us is, well, it sounds obvious, but it really is the worst thing you can do, because the morale is so low. If we'd have got the first goal, they would have crumbled, and they've got something to hang on to now. I still feel that if we can, if we can up the ante, get the crowd behind us attacking the north stand, get that next goal, I still feel confident that we'll certainly get something from the game, if not go on and win it. So there's plenty of time, but it just something feels flat. And as I've said to you before, I've said to other people, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Southampton. We can't play just. It's in our minds that it's Southampton. They're trying to do different things and something different or something extra. Like Lewis Cook and Lerma both been off their games. And if this was any other team in the position, we'd be playing our normal game, possibly winning or drawing the game. But it's in our heads, and whatever team you put out, we can't seem to shake off this Southampton syndrome, and it's really, really frustrating. Yeah.
Really frustrating. A few comments from Wing L here. His experience shows playing the same team as Saturday and no rotation is playing to struggling Southampton sides. Hands they can work out a tired outfit that played the same on Saturday. I would say the same team isn't really much of an issue. No rotation because Southampton also haven't rotated. So I don't think that's really necessarily the thing coming into it. I think it's the formation that's very much thrown off the players. Second comment here from Charlie. Really disappointing half. Awful defending for their goal. And there was no intensity in our play, which I totally agree with. Hopefully some O'Neill hairdryer treatment and bring on Zamora and Anthony maybe will turn the tide. I'd certainly really, really want to see Zamora. Because if there's anyone that's going to really make the, actually just drag this team out of nowhere, and I would never have imagined this 18 months ago. I think Zamora is one of those players without a doubt. Anthony, less so, but I do think he can have an effect. But I do think Tavernier has been at least decent this half in his dribbling. I just wish he'd play the pass a little bit more often.
They seem to be bossing the midfield and picking up pockets, and we should be the ones going at them. And look, we know we've had a great start to the season. We're probably well above the points rally that we are. But I think I mentioned to you before the game. West Ham away, Spurs away. It's Spurs at home. Sorry, 2 very difficult games. If we lose this tonight, we'll end up going potentially into the World Cup, almost not far off where we thought we might be. And then, we know we're going to lose games later in the season. This is a sort of game in the form we're in and the form they're in, under the lights, that we really need to, this 3 points could be massive, absolutely massive, a massive difference, taking the pressure off the next couple of games. And we're not even flying into challenges, look, whether it's a derby or not a derby, it's irrelevant for me. It's a Premier League football match, playing in front of your own fans. It doesn't matter who you're playing. There's no urgency. There's just no bite in competitiveness. It should be so different. And I'm expecting a big different second half. As I say, I'll give credit to Gary O'Neill. He's done it before in second halves against Forest and second halves against Leicester. So, I will certainly withhold judgment until the end of the game. Because for me, let's see what happens in the second half. But if that pattern continues, then there will be questions asked, clearly, about the team and the way they played today. Look, it's a game in isolation. It's a game which means an awful lot. And as I said, in the context of our season, regardless of whether it's Southampton or anyone else who's currently in a relegation zone, it's a big moment in the season. I think this is a big 3 points. Getting us to 16 points is a big moment. So let's see what happens second half.
Absolutely. Well, I'd imagine that the game is probably about 2 minutes away, so I will let you get back to your friends and family and the match. But I look forward to seeing you and getting your reaction to the full-time whistle. Hopefully
we're a lot happier. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be a bit happier. But I will see you in another 45, Aaron.
Okay.
Thanks for joining me again.
Bye.
Speak to you later. Right. So we're probably another minute away from kickoff in the second half. They're just showing a replay of the goal again. Really good move from Shea Adams. I'm just going to put us on pause again for another 60 seconds, and then I will be back. So be right with you very shortly. Okay, so we're back. Solanke kicks us off in the second half. Actually, need to update that banner. There we are. 1-0 to Southampton, and I wasn't paying much attention, but I'm going to guess, I certainly haven't seen anything flag up that there's been a personnel change. I rate Zamora really highly, so I would very much like to have seen him come on, and would have thought that he would bring him on for Fredericks, but no, they've very definitely still got the same players out. No changes. AFC Bournemouth, Germany. Yep, it's going to need a big change from Bournemouth to get that 4-2 prediction in. If Solanke gets a couple of goals, I'll be delighted. I've captained him in my fantasy team. But and we're at the pitch now. Tavernier playing it through to Billing in the box, and he puts a cross in as deflected. Yeah, we've got to stay positive. If we turn this around to a 2-1, I'll be delighted. But that was a good start. Ball over the top for Tavernier to run onto. I think Southampton's midfield has been a lot more aggressive. Has been a lot, just better than ours. I think when you think Ainsley Maitland-Niles and Ward-Prowse versus Lerma and Cook, and you could argue Billing as well, you'd think we'd win that battle, but we haven't so far. Corner comes in swing, a free header. Oh my! Oh boy! Oh, AFC Bournemouth, Germany. I thought you would have been in dreamland there. Senesi has a completely free header. completely free header, 6 yards out, and he puts it wide. Wonderful ball in the box. I'm going to guess that was Lewis Cook, but we have won the ball high up here. Lerma plays the ball through to Christie, plays it to Billing, who plays it back to Christie. Now Lerma shoots and it's miles over. That was looking good there. Billing needs to take a touch and turn. Well, if that's an indication of the rocket that O'Neill has put up this team at half-time, I'll be delighted. I don't know why Lerma's shooting from there. That completely wastes the momentum we had here. Press, it looks a lot more positive and a lot higher up. Senesi winning a long ball. Tavernier on the ball on the left-hand side going up against Elyounoussi. Still has it going past Walker Peters, who does really well to get that back. Yeah, still a very good player, Walker Peters. And Tavernier's not having the best game against him, but I do think he needs a bit more support. Tavernier has quite often ended up basically going 1 versus 2, and he may well be a good dribbler, but he needs someone to pass the ball to. While I do feel as though he needs to make better decisions for his passing, he needs the options there, and I don't think he's really had those today when he's been further up the pitch. Need Billing to be pushing higher. But we are back in that 4-2-3-1 that we've done really well in this season. Surprised Senesi hasn't given a foul away there. Chad Armstrong pushing up the pitch, rather Lerma doing really good to cover there. But from a long free kick, we've conceded a corner very quickly. So we'll see how we set up on this one. Obviously, you've got James Ward-Prowse stood over this. The ball comes into the box. Decent delivery. And, ooh, that almost falls off somebody close into the bottom corner. But no, Neto jumps on it and throws the ball out nice and quick. Christie tries to flick it, but it hits Peru. And then Fredericks again tries a pass and it bounces off the Southampton player. Perot is getting into the box, and it's a good interception from Christie, who hits it clear, and Solanke can't win the ball back. It's been a lot more action so far in this half. Been rather disappointed by Fredericks, I've got to say. I do think that he may have experience, but he's certainly not showing it over the few games that he's played so far, in my opinion. But I do think I have also been a little bit harsh on Fredericks on a few moments. But I do expect more from him. Cross there that comes into the box, claimed comfortably by Neto, who's looking to play it quickly, doesn't have the chance, but then hits it long. Solanke commits a foul, trying to lean into the back of Chaleta, but gives away the free kick. Yeah, blatant foul. Can't hear. I mean, bear in mind I have this very low. I can't hear any Bournemouth fans at all. I'm going to turn this up slightly, actually, so I can actually hear, because I'm not worried about the commentary, but I would like to hear what's happening in the stadium. Yeah, very definite handball by Che Adams in the build-up there. Okay, there's a little bit of crowd chanting. Got the good Red Army going. Need the players to pick the fans up, I think. Which in a home match you'd probably prefer it to be the other way around, but Southampton have pressed pretty well. I don't think they've pressed as successfully as Bournemouth have, but Solanke's pushed up. He's won the ball nicely. Got to the byline. That was not quite where Billing had found himself. So ball is cleared quite comfortably. Good tackle there by Senesi. Throws it forward to Solanke, who wins the foul. Nicely done. Thank you to everyone that's joining us or keeping me in your ears for my opinions, for what it's worth. If you could give us a like, that would be very much appreciated. Every like does help. Help satisfy the almighty algorithm and let people know that that we're a channel worth keeping an eye on. Ball in the box by Tavernier. Put to the back post, miles over everyone else. Oh dear. We've won quite a few free kicks in decent positions. Done absolutely nothing with them so far. There just really is something about Southampton and the way that we just don't seem to perform, particularly when we'd be expecting to. Bazuna restarts play from a goal kick, hits it long. Mepham's clearance, Lerma's header. And we win the ball back roughly halfway, and a good switch of play from Lerma. I want to see that more often, or at least I would say that, but unfortunately it goes over Tavernier's head. Oh boy. I mean, O'Neill has to do something more. He really does. I mean, there are enough examples going back where things aren't working well and you just stick with it and it ends up working. For Bournemouth last season, the thing is that we had we just had Danjuma. I say last season, the season before last. It happened a lot with Woodgate and with less so with Tyndall. It happened a lot with Woodgate. Things aren't working, but basically just stick with it because Danjuma will just put the ball in the back of the net from a half chance out of nowhere because we've got a Champions League level attacker in the Championship. Really nice ball forward there to Ryan Christie, though, who completely miscontrols it. Oh, boy. Dear. First time cross there would have been great, but he tries to control it and knocks it from his left foot onto his right and it flies out of the pitch. It's like, Graham, I totally agree. Adam Smith on the left-hand side approaching the box, but it goes backwards and the fans are getting frustrated. Cross in by Lewis Cook. Christie's there, but it's Perot does well. And it's cleared long. Mepham does well. Thank you. I really want to see Fredericks off. I'm sorry. I think I am actually quite overly harsh on him, but I'm going to stick with that. I do think Fredericks has been piss poor, and I desperately want to see Zamora on the pitch. Desperately want to see Zamora on the pitch. Fredericks has been okay since he started in the last 3 games. Unfortunately, Rolo, you haven't been paying attention because there has already been a goal. Unless you're talking about another game, in which case, my apologies. Lewis Cook on the ball, playing it through to Christie. Fredericks on the right-hand side. I'm hoping he proves me wrong and just puts the ball in, but no, Lerma on the ball is being tackled. And he does well, at least. He does win a corner off Aribo. No problem, Graham. Lovely to have you here for the watch along. Aaron, I would also, like I said, I'd love to see Jay-Z. I just think we need to make a change because, well, I mean, we've done okay, but we haven't really done much of anything in terms of making chances. Ball in the box again, straight to a Southampton head, and then Ryan Fredericks does his best to make sure Lewis Cook can't get the ball. Rob saying Rothwell to run at them. I mean, we've had Tavernier run at them, and that hasn't been brilliant. I would like to see players, try and go at them. Oh, nice tackle there from Billing. Now we need to push up the pitch quickly. Solanke holds on and then plays it behind Adam Smith. So there's the momentum gone. Let's see. Carrying on, it goes to Tavernier, who's putting in an early ball, and no one is in the box. It was a really good ball, but it's played like one touch too early because Billing isn't able to get there. Hello, Alex Pellegrino from Italy. We're not playing very well. That's the be-all and end-all at the moment. We're 1-0 down to a team that hasn't got a win in 5 games, who are in the relegation zone. It's not been very impressive so far. Billing's in a good position. Oh, that was close. Got himself into the box. I'd be interested to see actually how many touches we've got in our penalty area. I don't think it's very many. Lovely ball from Lerman to Billing and gets a corner. Yeah, Aaron's. It really. I think we've been a lot better second half, but we've still not made a chance yet, really. So, Southampton are mostly digging in. Southampton haven't produced. They've had a corner this half, and that's it. They haven't really produced anything. But neither have we. That's the main issue. We've got another corner here from the left. I think that's Lewis Cook putting it in. That's better, but it's gone over. Solanke just completely misses the header and it comes off his shoulder. I don't think Steve Fletcher is able to perform at this level, unfortunately. But he would at least be a change. I'm not sure how good of a change that would be. But Mepham winning his header again. Love to see. That might have been... Nope. Chance now for El Yanusi, but loses out. Lerma, deal with it. Deal with it. Loses it in his own box. Now it's Aribo, passes it through to Pirot, who takes a shot which is deflected. And that falls to Adam Smith. And this could be a counter opportunity if we play it quickly. But unfortunately, it's kind of slowed down. And we're putting ourselves into a massive issue on this left-hand side. Lewis Cook does well to get out of it, plays it to Senesi, who plays it to Neto, plays it in an awkward position because Neto's practically on his line. We've had to work so hard just to hold on to the ball in our own third there. It's ridiculous. And then Ryan Iforedits gets the ball on the right-hand side and immediately turns it backwards and plays to Chris Mepham. He's got Adam Smith syndrome. He can't turn out and play it and play forward. Lovely ball from Neto over to Billing on the halfway line. Solanke's wide left. Plays it through to Billing. Very nice. Billing tries the Fulham cutback to try and get it back to Solanke when he had 2 other men in the box. He could have tried picking one of them out instead. But we win the ball back in their half again. Solanke goes down under a tackle. No free kick given. I'm not sure. I couldn't really see whether I think that should have been a free kick or not. We're dominating possession. I don't think there's any doubt that we're going to have the most possession in this match for the first time all season, but we're also very much going to be losing at this rate. AFC Bournemouth, Germany. The Royal Mail during a strike are getting better deliveries than we are. I think that's fair to say. Although Lewis Cook did put in a very good delivery in the last corner, and Dominic Solanke decided to head it use his shoulder. When we're in behind now with Tavernier on the left-hand side. Dominic Solanke's gone down in the box. That will be an interesting one to have a look at. Surely VAR will check it. But Solanke doesn't look like he's making much of a shout of it. We're in a really good position here. Tavernier beats out Walker Peters, takes a touch. I think Solanke might have... Yeah, Solanke trips the defender first. Solanke trips the defender who, as he's falling down, kind of brings down Solanke. There's no way that's getting overturned. Okay. Ryan Christie's off, and Junior Stanislas is on for his first appearance of the season. Now that is a good change. this is a player that can completely turn our game. If you, as a team that have completely failed to create chances, that's a player that you want to see come on and make a difference. I still don't understand how Zamora hasn't come on the pitch and why Ryan Fredericks is still on. But, at least it's something. He's just shown a sheet of paper to Lewis Cook with, I imagine, what the formation is meant to be. But with Ryan Christie having come off, that means it's probably Stanislas that's nominally the right mid, which, to be honest, is not where I want him. I want him down the middle, or at least I want him roaming into the middle, which he will do. But I think I'd prefer him coming from the left-hand side with Tavernier on the right. But Stanislas is by far our best crosser of the ball in this team, from open play in particular. Aaron saying back three again. Maybe. Southampton change. Joe Revo is coming off, who has been decent. I mean, I see the Southampton fans do not like that. Ralph is getting cries of "you don't know what you're doing." I didn't see who came on there. But it's Bournemouth back in possession on the left-hand side with Solanke crossing the ball in, and it's headed away. I think that's the Southampton fans with cries if you're getting sacked in the morning. Adam Smith down the left-hand side crosses it, gets a corner. Walker Peters, it looks like, game might be over, which is great news for us. He's dealt well with Tavernier. So Southampton have actually matched it. Aaron, if you're correct, which you may well be, in terms of going to a back five. Although Adam Smith is still playing at the left side, so he might be a left back, he might be a left centre back. Southampton also changed formation to match us up when going to a back five, but they've just lost their right wing back, so it'll be interesting to see. Armstrong has just come on. I'd imagine Maitland-Niles will be pushed to right wing back. We'll see. It's an unfortunate one for Southampton. They wouldn't have wanted that. Oh, God, that is absolutely awful. We played a short corner. Junior Stanislas has passed it back to Adam Smith, I think, who, instead of turning out to do something with it, plays it back to Stanislas, who, under no pressure, first time with a bobbling ball, completely messes up his cross, and it dribbles out for a goal kick. What on earth are you trying? He wasn't under any pressure. Could have taken 3 touches and put that ball in the box and would have been fine. I think we've overperformed in a lot of games. Today has been an incredible underperformance. Now Southampton are on the attack. Is that... No, that's Senesi doing a good job there and putting in a good tackle. The cross isn't very good, and Neto ends up with the ball in his hands. The first change has been a good one, certainly in the respect of getting something happening. Oh, hang on. This is a really good one, too, between Billing and Tavernier, who's got in behind on the left-hand side. Put that ball in, and it's behind everyone. Stanislas and Solanke both made the same run. Lovely ball in from Frederick. Solanke hits it, but it's not a very good header. I'm very surprised that... actually, no, I'm not surprised that Junior made that fast post run, but both Solanke and Stanislas made a run in towards the goal when they could. One of them could have held back. Lovely work from Billing, who's definitely improved this second half. Wonderful ball over the top, trying to find Stanislas and doesn't reach him. Smith caught late by Chelmsford, but advantage given. It pushes over to the right-hand side with Ryan Fredericks, who doesn't know what he's... Stanislas makes a move at the second that Fredericks passes it to his feet, and Stanislas moves out of the way. You've got two players that haven't played much with each other, completely on the wrong wavelength. We are 68 minutes done into the 69th minute. Still, I don't think we've had a shot on target in the second half. I'm not sure we've had a shot in the second half, actually, which is not good when you're 1-0 down. Yeah, that very much looks like a back three. I think Smith has got forward more in the last 5 minutes than he has at any point in the match so far, but lovely cross ball from Senesi to Fredericks. Lewis Cook on the ball in the middle of the pitch. Tries a reverse ball. Fredericks should get there. He does. Reaches Solanke. Solanke lays it off to Billing. Oh, that's probably face, but the Billing shot is blocked from relatively close range. There's a lot of shouts for handball, but I think that came off his face. That'll be interesting to see back, because if it does hit his arm, it's up. So I think it would be given as a penalty, but I don't think it's. I don't think it will be given. I'm pretty sure that comes off his head. That was much better. Fredericks bombing on in a good position. Lovely ball from Lewis Cook, who's also getting further up the pitch. Billing loses out there. Long ball from Southampton is wayward. You know, Southampton haven't really done much this half. They haven't pushed. They haven't produced any attacks of note beyond the corner within the first 10 minutes. But that doesn't mean that Bournemouth have done enough themselves. Like I said, I certainly don't think we've had a shot on target this second half. I don't think we've even had a shot. Well, actually, no, I think there's been a Solanke header, which barely counts as a shot because it didn't even go out of play. I think Solanke's starting to look a bit tired. Senesi, blimey, got lucky there. Fredericks isn't working back enough. We got a little bit lucky there. A long ball at the top almost broke through us. Senesi going up against Adams, almost losing out. So frustrated. More play between that isn't working. Well, there's the big stat. So far, Bournemouth produces 11 shots, which is apparently our most this season, but only one of which was on target. So like he's got to be offside there. Solanke's still in the box. He takes the shot. It goes high and wide. Yeah, so I was right that we finished off. We finished the Solanke was offside. We finished the first half with one shot on target, and after another 26 minutes in the second half, we've still only got one shot on target. And there's the replay. Yeah, it's not even his face. It's straight into his chest. They've just shown the replay of the Billing shot, which was blocked well by the Southampton substitute. Solanke's still, trying to produce something, but I think with this long left in the match, you've got to bring on Big Kiefer. Can talk about Zamora, who should have come on at halftime. Can talk about Anthony, maybe could do with coming on to produce something. And Joe Rothwell is being given his instructions. So, as Aaron has pointed out, less than 20 minutes ago, only one sub made, only one shot on target, really not producing all that much in the opposition box. The two players that we brought on both haven't played a minute of football this season. The player that we just brought on in Stanislas and the player that looks like we're going to bring on next both haven't played a minute of football this season. I mean, this is one of those times where you're certainly looking at O'Neill and going, like, come on, show your worth, make something happen, do something, please, because it's not worked out so far. Lerma has been poor, unfortunately. So Lewis Cook hasn't been great, but he has done all right. Oh, that's got to be a penalty. Stanislas just put a ball in the box, and it's been blocked by Salisu. That looked like a handball. I'm hoping that this is finally the decision that goes our way. However, I'm waiting to see the replay on this one. So the thing is that I think that this would be harsh on Salisu, but does it come off his rib first? Oh, if it comes off his ribs first, then there's nowhere near a handball. No, I think a second angle. I don't know what you're doing, Fabrizio. Yeah, that comes off his chest first. I thought I had already blocked you, Fabrizio Romano. Right, hopefully that's all gone. No, it's not the same as it's not the same as the Newcastle game. It looks like it comes off his chest first. Southampton almost broke on us there. Mepham puts it out for a corner. It did look like it. I thought first view I thought it was a penalty, but I'm also looking at it like you from a camera angle, which wasn't clear. This is a game where O'Neill has a lot of questions to answer. Decent delivery from Southampton. Ball's flicked away by a Bournemouth defender. Billing picks it up and plays the ball long. Doesn't reach Tavernier. Long ball cleared by Bazunu. Adam Smith picks it up and pushes into the Southampton half. And Dominic Solanke is over on the left wing for whatever reason. Goes back to Cook, who tries to get it to Solanke. Lovely first touch. And Solanke tries to go past two players rather than passing it. And now Southampton are on the break. Adam Armstrong pushes down the left-hand side. It's a 2-on-2 at the moment, but Lerma's getting back. Chris Mepham's going up against Armstrong. He holds him off, and Ward-Prowse takes a shot, and it goes wide. We've got less than 15 minutes to go, and so far, we're just about to make a second substitution, but only a second substitution. And I think, yeah, I was right. I saw 25. He's taking off Marcus Senesi. What? I mean, don't get me wrong. You're losing. You know, I suppose taking off a centre-back to put on an attacker, I can understand. But why is it Rothwell? When you take off a centre-back to go all out for the win, don't you put on a striker? Not a dribbling box-to-box midfielder. Billing wins the ball nicely, plays the ball through, but Fredericks isn't going to get there. Really good forward play from Che Adams there, and does a fantastic job of winning a throw-in for his team off Lewis Cook. O'Neill is absolutely baffling me. It really is absolutely baffling me. I haven't had the chance to see really sort of how we're setting up now that substitution has been made. But his two substitutions are Stanislas and Rothwell. I understand that they're creators, but at this point in the match, get the big guy on and put the balls in the box. Like, what are you waiting for? This is the reason why you do that is because it works. This is a Southampton defence that haven't kept a clean sheet this season. The only team in professional English football, well, okay, top four tiers, because fifth tier is mostly pro teams. Only football team in the top four tiers of English football to keep a clean sheet. And Bournemouth haven't looked like scoring all match. Ball's on the right-hand side with Fredericks, who passes it through down onto Billing, who has worked really hard this second half, I will grant him that. He cuts the ball back, reaches Stanislas, plays it to Lewis Cook, who plays it back to Stanislas nicely, blocks ball in and reaches Rothwell. Tavernier, who goes for a header, wasn't the greatest cross. Aaron backing me up here. What is more in the squad if not for now? Exactly the point. And I think it will be games like this that those of us that are still yet to be fully convinced that it's definitely O'Neill that we need going forward, this is a game that I think every Bournemouth fan will be looking and going, what on earth were you thinking? There are times when players perform badly. There are enough times under Eddie Howe where we would look at the team and go, God, no one worked. This just didn't work today. But it wasn't necessarily because of the formation, because Eddie wanted a 4-4-2 all the time. And sometimes I think he did that to his detriment. But most of the time it was because the players weren't clicking that game. Whereas today, it's like, what was your plan? What on earth made you decide to play a formation you haven't played yet against a team that are completely devoid of confidence? Not only play a formation that you haven't played yet, play it with players that are out of position. He's well and truly tried to get square pegs in round holes in this game, and it's completely backfired. Look, we've got 10 minutes left to go. We'll see. But this is something that even if we win 2-1, is going to be massive questions to answer. Decent cross by Fredericks, but Bazunu does really well to claim it. Let me bring up SofaScore again. Look at what the stats are telling us. We have zero big chances created, which is the biggest one. 6 corners, 14 shots, 2 on target. Our conversion rate has been really good so far this season, and that has completely plummeted it. Nine shots from inside the box. That's quite a lot. And to only get 2 on target isn't very good. Oh, we almost conceded again. Huge chance there for Southampton, but a really good block from Adam Smith. Let's see, Armstrong plays it through to Perot, who pulls it back to Adams, who smashes it against Adam Smith, who, comes off his shoulder. No way, it's a handball. Oh my God, Siriki Dembele's on the pitch. Kiefer Moore's finally on. Who's he coming on for? Philip Billing and Ryan Fredericks are off. Frederick should have been off ages ago for me. He's produced a few half-decent crosses towards the end of this game. But, I mean, Jack Stacey could have done that. But I rate Jack Stacey a lot higher than I think most fans do. We've now going well and truly all out. Ball played forward to Dembele there, who cannot get on the end of it. Yeah, we got a finally about time from Charlie. Yeah. 7 minutes to go in this match, plus added time. AFC Bournemouth Germany would be great if fans could ask questions at press conferences, wouldn't be scared to ask the questions that need to be answered. I mean, it's never going to happen, but, we do get a fans forum once a year. Or we used to. So at the moment, we've got Lerma and Mepham as the centre-backs. Still got Solanke on the pitch, along with Kiefer Moore as Siriki Dembele, working hard, winning the ball back well. Done a good job there. Want to see him keep twisting and turning. Get the ball in the box, man. Now with Rothwell. Plays it back to Adam Smith, who puts in the cross. Decent-looking cross. Flicked on by Solanke, but picked out by Bazunu quite comfortably. I think, it's good that at least the cross was put in, but I would rather have just seen Siriki Dembele put that ball in the box rather than it get back to Adam Smith, who is far deeper, and that makes it a much harder cross. At this point, you've got Kiefer Moore on. The problem is we don't have Fredericks on the right-hand side, who basically wasn't great, but only put crosses in. However, I'm hoping that Stanislas was probably being pushed quite far right, because he's a very good crosser at the ball in open play for the most part. He did completely mess up that corner routine not long after coming onto the pitch. But then we've got another right footer on the left-hand side. Well, we've got Rothwell and Dembele that are playing left side, along with Adam Smith, who are all right-footed. So that's not the best in terms of wanting to put crosses in from that left-hand side. Nothing's happened for the last 45 seconds or so. Maitland-Niles has been down, and I think Southampton were looking to make changes. I don't know whether they did in the end. I certainly think there's a couple of players waiting to come on for Southampton. They're playing it around the back, and we're trying to put a press on. Kiefer Moore's pressed Salisu into hitting it long there. Mepham passes it to Cook, who gives it to Lerma, and Lerma whacks it long. Oh no, Tavernier is still on the pitch, and he's wide right. Why have we got Tavernier right and Dembele left? When you've got Moore on the pitch, you want right on the right and left on the left so you can swing crosses in. Crossing by Tavernier is completely cleared immediately by a Southampton player. Lewis Cook going up for a header, loses to Armstrong, but it falls to Lerma, who gives it to Dembele, who gets past two and loses out to the third and can't win it back. And Tavernier and Rothwell pressing Armstrong to try and win the ball back, and Rothwell just sticks a foot in and gives a free kick away. I cannot pick a thing that O'Neill has done right today, other than correcting his own mistakes. Two subs looking to come on for Southampton. Yeah, it's been an absolute of 3 subs for Southampton. Yeah, I can't think of anything that has been good about this game for Bournemouth. There's still a chance we can nick a goal, but has been an absolute disaster. I'm running through some things that I could call it, and they all involve swear words. An absolute disaster. Remind you again, Southampton haven't kept a clean sheet this season. And we haven't looked like scoring at any point in this match. That is pretty diabolical. Southampton have taken probably about a minute to take the set piece, although what they did have 3 subs coming on as well. But the ball is in our corner. Ball put in the box, but blocked away by Smith for a Southampton corner, which they'll take another 6. They'll take as long as they can to go for again. There is some weird thing for us in Southampton. I think that makes a derby, doesn't it? Form book always goes out the window when we play Southampton. Ball in the box from Ward-Prowse. Cleared out. Kiefer Moore running to chase against the cleared ball. Diallo wins it, but knocks it off. Moore for a Southampton throw. Southampton taking an age on this throw-in. And finally it's gone. Well, second half action here has just shown up. 40% of the action has been in the Saints' third. Not like we've really done anything with that. Southampton are keeping the ball nicely in their in our corner, recycling it. They've had hold of the ball for the last minute and a half, effectively. We forced them back. Now playing a long ball out wide. Adam Smith has gone for something that at least forced the head of Emelianusi to fall down to Lerma, who's pushing forward, plays it long and just straight to a Southampton head. There's nowhere near Moore or Solanke. Ball goes to Stanislas, who hits it to Tavernier on the right-hand side. 1-on-1, gets in the box, crosses it. Oh, well, in the end, he kind of takes a shot. And it falls, and it goes out for a corner. 5 minutes of stoppage time. 5 minutes. But again, I said, you want a right footer on the right. Tavernier ends up on his right foot, can't get the ball in. He takes a shot in the end. Second ball has ended up on the pitch for some reason. Tavernier puts the ball in the box. Decent delivery-ish. Oh, keeper drops it. They headed off the line. Oh, Lewis Cook has the ball on the left-hand side. Through to Lerma. What is Lerma doing? First time pass was on to Dembele. He keeps hold of the ball and loses it immediately. Stanislas does well to win the ball back. Falls to Lewis Cook, who hits it to Tavernier on the right-hand side, who is tackled by Che Adams. But we get a throw-in. Oh, boy. Mepham passes it to the left-hand side to Adam Smith. Dembele has tried to get past his man, which he does, but he runs into another player. We've got too much faffing about with it on the wings. Like, you can create an overload with no issues on the wings. Just play around them and get the ball in the box. Trying to do too much, and at the moment, Southampton have won the ball back, and it was looking like a 3-on-2 for a second, but they've kept hold of the ball sensibly. They've gone back to their centre-backs, and Adam Smith has given away a foul. Bournemouth don't look like they know what to do. But they don't look like they've known what to do all match, and that's come from the setup. Well, this is the first time we can look at Gary O'Neill, and I mean, I've said it enough times in this, but it's the first time you could even go, what the hell were you thinking? Heck, what the heck were you thinking? Welcome back, Gray. You haven't missed much. And Che Adams has been given the man of the match, which I think is fair enough. He's done a really good job. Oh, Mepham's just been... Oh. God, that was close. Mepham was beaten for the first time, I think, this match by the attacker, and the shot was straight at Neto. Tavernier's bombing down the right-hand side, goes to Stanislas, who spins round his man, gives it back to Tavernier, who plays it all the way back to Chris Mepham. Second time pass quickly into Smith, but from deep, Smith is going to play this ball in. Kiefer Moore heads it down. He does well, but then can't keep hold of it. It just didn't fall for us there. And then Adam Smith is beaten by a dribbler again. Diallo's rushing out of the pitch, does well and keeps hold of the ball. And Southampton have got the ball again, but they're playing that long to a man in our half that's completely free. Lewis Cook gets taken off the ball, but it's accidental. He wants a free kick, and it's not going to happen. Minute and 15 seconds to go, and the ball is in our half in possession of Southampton. Now it's halfway line. Diallo on the ball. Elianusi, who's actually had a decent game. I think all the Southampton players have played well, to be fair. To be fair to Southampton players, they've all been good. And I think that Hasenhüttl has been lucky to have Bournemouth that have been so bad, but that's also partly down to Gary O'Neill's setup. The games we've lost so far this season are all ones that we would have expected to lose. None of us, while we may have been disappointed with a 9-0 loss, none of us were surprised to lose to City. None of us were surprised to lose to Arsenal or Liverpool. This game has been comfortably our worst performance of the season. And that has been, while the players haven't been brilliant, I think Lewis Cook has not been great. Lerma's not been great. Senesi made a couple of mistakes for the goal, but also players didn't do their job. Probably Smith or Fredericks on the right, or Tavernier actually on the right-hand side, didn't block the cross. The players haven't been good enough today. Full time. 1-0 loss. The curse of Chris Sutton strikes, it seems. Ralph Hasenhüttl has his first win in 6, and the longest unbeaten streak in the Premier League is over. Oh dear. It's been a very, very bad day at the office, from the top down. From O'Neill down to the rest of the majority of the players, I cannot give you a single thing that O'Neill has done in this game that was correct, other than correct the mistakes that he made in the first place. Southampton are well and truly worthy of their victory. They didn't have to do much past the chance they scored, and they made the other good chance in the match with I think it was an Aribo shot from about 2 yards out that he managed to hit straight at the keeper. An incredibly frustrating night for AFC Bournemouth and their fans. Really, really poor. please stick with us. We will be reacting to that that dreadful game of football in terms of AFC Bournemouth's opinion. Thank you very much for those of you that stuck with us. Please, I ask again, please do give us a like. It does help us. And just for those of us that have had to watch that, please just give us a like just to try and cheer us up a bit, because it has been a bit of a slog tonight. I'm not going to lie. Not been that entertaining to watch, but I am very appreciative of the company of those that have stuck with us. We will be giving some reaction. Aaron Kaye will come back on, and we may well have Kirk from the grounds as well, reporting from somewhere outside the stadium. But just going to give us all a chance to take a quick break, and we will be back in about 60 seconds. So I will speak to you again shortly. And we're back. So, final score, Southampton 0, AFC Bournemouth 1. AFC Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1. I wish it was the other way around. It's been a long night. We will get into some reactions shortly. We hope to have Kirk Tovey live from the ground. Quick thank you to our sponsors, Aquashine Exteriors. Please do check them out. There will be links below in the description for checking out their website, and there is a free quotation number there. Please do check them out if you're interested in getting your driveways, your surfaces, patios, etc., getting cleaned in the Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole area. Links will be below in the description. So, Aaron, 1-0 loss. We did say we would hope to be talking about this in 45 minutes to 50 minutes time, about things would be better, that changes would be made, and that things would improve. But after halftime, nothing changed and nothing improved. Terrible day at the office.
I'm not sure where to start with that. It was just wrong from start to finish. We have built over the last 6 games a mentality, a shape, a work ethic, patterns all over the pitch, and it just all seemed to go out the window tonight. And from everything to the formation to start with the switching of the wing backs, to the switching, playing 3 different formations in the first half. We did start better second half. I mean, it's difficult to argue that we didn't deserve we deserved a draw. I mean, I think on the balance of play we might have been better than Southampton, but the subs were baffling. I mean, I love Junior Stanislas, I love Rothwell. I guess, look, someone could say, well, what's wrong with those substitutes? They're both creative players. Yes, they are, but they haven't played a minute this season. They look rusty. You then brought Dembele on again. I've got no issue with Dembele coming on because, who knows what he can do in this league. Comes on with 8 minutes to go. Anthony sat on the bench, who's made a real impact this season. Like, why not Jadon Anthony tonight? Jordan Zamora, Kiefer Moore came on far too late, and as soon as he came on, look, he was winning headers, causing a nuisance. It was just wrong from start to finish. And when Rothwell and Stanislas came on, he took Senesi off, and Lerma went centre back. We lost the midfield totally. Lewis Cook had one of his poorest games of the season. Well, I guess they all did, really, didn't they? But Lewis Cook had a poor game. It was just wrong all over the pitch, and it was just like, where's the last 6 games gone? It was all wrong, and I'm telling you, it's Southampton syndrome. We can't play. We've got an inferiority complex against them. We just cannot play them. That's their first clean sheet for God knows how long. They've been leaking goals for fun. They were 1-0 up, and their own fans were singing, "You're getting sacked in the morning, and you know what you're doing." There is discontent all over that club. Yet they come away and win 1-0. It was shocking from start. It was just shocking, and it's I'd love to say. Hopefully, this is an isolation. We go to West Ham Monday and get a result, but my worry now is, and it's easy to be a bit raw at the end of a game like that. But, West Ham away is very tough. Spurs obviously is tough. Leeds away. We could suddenly go into the World Cup on a bad run and undo a lot of the good stuff we've done this season on the back of something like today. I mean, it's baffling. I think that's the biggest word. It's baffling. Can't wait to hear Gary O'Neill's post-match interview about some of the thinking behind that. Lots of questions for him, and I'd love to know some of those answers.
Comments from you guys, please do get your comments in about how you felt about that performance, and we'll talk through them. Here from Phoenix Reborn 60, we desperately need to break this narrative between the games, and it's seems to happen all the time. When they're in poor form, they win, and when we pretty much generally don't perform against Southampton for some reason. He certainly describes it as a mentality thing. It might be. I don't think that game was anything due to mentality. There was absolutely nothing about the mentality in that game. O'Neill is not a Bournemouth man. He may have taken us in. He gets the club in a way that managers get clubs. Yada, yada. But he's got no relation to this Bournemouth Southampton narrative. But Gary O'Neill messed up today. He absolutely did. Yes, the players didn't perform, but if the manager doesn't put them in a good position, then the manager is well and truly to blame. Charlie Baker says awful performance tonight from O'Neill down to the players. Failing to create any big chances against the only team to have not kept a clean sheet in the top 4 leagues is beyond abysmal. Yeah, I brought that up a few times. As Rob Toy says, we were awful. Saints defended well second half. They did. But we didn't help ourselves. We weren't exactly giving them much to have to defend.
I don't know what the shape was towards the end. I mean, it was like it kind of went from one extreme to the other, like kamikaze football. You've got to keep your discipline. You've got to keep your shape. You don't score goals by just going all out. The gaps at the back. I don't know. It was just so many people getting in each other's way that it just lost it. Look, having said that, we were always going to lose a game. We were never going to get through that, go have about not get through the next few games. That a poor performance, and unfortunately tonight was it.
We have our reporter live from the ground. He's gone dark. There's no light around him, but we can at least hear you, Kurt.
We can hear you.
Go on then.
I'll try and see if I can.
We can hear you.
Mess of a 90 minutes that was even in a 9-0. I would argue that was probably our worst performance of the season.
Good evening, everyone. John, I hope the watch-along went okay, because that is not the easiest watch-along, I'm sure, that you've ever had to cover. That was such a weird football match. I mean, you saw an unchanged side. Okay, if it's not broken, don't fix it. But then you can throw that in the bin, because then he decides to play around with that formation, playing Fredericks left wing back. Smith starts in the back three. Marcus, Senesi and Meppenroke as a 2. Now they're a 3. Tavernier and Christie over the same side. It was just very weird. It didn't feel like a derby, guys, inside the stadium. The atmosphere was very strange as well. And then it just took for them to take the lead because the team looked unbalanced. It looked unsettled. And then he decided to chuck out the experiment and start putting players on their right sides that they normally play on. Very weird. Took us 50 minutes to get going. Once we did get going, we couldn't string 5 passes together. We couldn't even pass 5 yards, couldn't cross a football. It was contagious. Even Stanislas came off the bench and couldn't cross a football. Very, very strange game, guys. And I'm sure you saw it as clear as that as well, John.
Yeah, just so odd. I just couldn't decide what the hell Gary O'Neill was trying to do within basically the entirety of the first half. And then I was just as baffled by his substitutions in the second. If we... show up on SofaScore. Stats-wise, 15 shots. I believe that's the most we've produced in a game this season. However, only 3 on target, no big chances created. And despite the fact that we've produced basically twice as many shots as Southampton, Info Goals XG map, which is gone now, but will come back again later, it had Southampton with barely more XG than us at 1.1-ish to 1.06, something like that. Yeah, it's just so baffling. Particularly the substitutions. What did you make of that, Kirk? Because he brings on he doesn't make a substitution until sort of 65, 70-ish minutes and brings on a player that we know has a lot of quality but hasn't kicked a ball on the pitch this season in Stanislas. And then 10 minutes later, he makes one more substitution, only one, and brings on another player that hasn't kicked a ball in a first-team game this season in Joe Rothwell. And then slightly later on, with only 8 minutes to go, finally brings on Kiefer Moore and another player who hasn't kicked a ball this season in a game that means anything, in Siriki Dembele. I don't understand anything that Gary O'Neill did today. He has completely thrown any confidence I had that he would be getting this job out the window for me.
I said it was like he was experimenting, like it was a pre-season football match, and it's like we're the most informed team in the Premier League for 2 months against a team that's on the floor. Ralph is like 1 game away from losing his job, and they can't keep clean sheets for love nor money, and they go and do it tonight. And what was Fredericks still doing on the pitch after 60, 65 minutes? I mean, he was on empty.
Where's Zamora and Anthony? Where the hell is Zamora and Anthony?
I have no idea why Zamora is not in this football match.
What you just said, Kirk, I said to John before, I said, we've all been at the last 6 games or watched them all. There was a pattern, patterns all over the pitch, there was a shape, it was a proper football match. As you say, today felt like it still felt like a pre-season. We were like having God knows what the formation was towards the end. It was just bizarre from start to finish. The substitutions, everything about it.
I think what I have seen today, which is what I have seen a little bit in segments in the wins and the points that we've picked up with Gary O'Neill, is he very much sets us up to not lose, or he sets us up to nullify the opposition. Now, I can get that if you're playing a top 8 team and you want to try and stay in the football match and get to half time. But he did this against Leicester. We went 1-0 behind, turned it around. Okay, the ball was rolling for you. But I said a few weeks ago, guys, when the ball stops rolling, then you get found out. He's done the same again today. This is a team, Southampton, they have nothing at the moment. They've got players injured. They're on the floor. They can't buy a win. And we've set our team up worried about them at home. We were going into this game weirdly as favourites, and I can't get my head around that. Why are we not setting up our team to take them on, to make them worried? And it takes for us to get to 50 minutes to throw the Forest kitchen sink at everything, and now the ball's not rolling, because it doesn't happen every time, John. It doesn't happen every time. You get away with it. He's been on a good run, but look, he's trying to be too cute. He's trying to be too technical. But when we put the throttle on, especially at home, we know what we can do. That's the Bournemouth. And against Southampton, against any team outside the top 8, top 9, that's what we should be doing in the last 40 minutes. Unfortunately, we didn't have enough quality in the final third day.
But even against Leicester, you know, we were 1-0 down until 75th minute, but it still felt the shape. It was all felt right. Today was just like everything. He changed. It was like 10 different things throughout the game.
It was very strange.
It was as you say, the atmosphere was, I mean, obviously wasn't there, but the atmosphere was flat. Even when we got a corner in the last minute, didn't seem to be any cheering. It was just, and you know, this is a common pattern against Southampton. You know, John's right. It wasn't a mentality thing. This set of players are different from every other set of players, but it's a Southampton syndrome. We just can't seem to perform against them.
I mean, this is nothing against Gary O'Neill because I want to keep him at the club. I think he has attributes that can be worth something to us. But if anything maybe comes out of this, that when we get to November, when we get to the World Cup, if anyone is looking above, might think, oh, this is what we could be up against in a 2-3 year contract with him as a manager. And I've never once said that I wanted him as manager, even when we won, even when we drew. I had concerns about certain things he was doing, not making changes, sitting on the long game, waiting for something to hopefully happen. Nothing happened against Brentford. The ball rolled for him against Leicester. Tonight, it didn't go his way. He's had a bit of everything now. And yeah, it's too soon. He's too inexperienced. He's tried to be too technical. And today was really weird to just absolutely throw some sort of curveball at this game. I can't quite get my head around it yet.
The other side of the coin is that, you know, maybe we've kind of lulled ourselves into a false sense of security because we haven't lost for 6 games. That, you know, when we do have a really poor performance like this, that we're suddenly like, oh my God, you know, we are in the Premier League. It was never going to be plain sailing, and we were clearly going to have crap performances again because it's just the way it is. And it was the same last season. And I guess, you know, it's just part of it. It's just annoying when it against Southampton. And as I said to John before, Kirk, I'm a bit concerned that, look, we could go to West Ham and turn them over, but I'm concerned that, you know, West Ham away is difficult. Spurs, obviously got Spurs Leeds, you know, the way they played against Arsenal, they'll murder us up there if they play like that. And then it's Everton. It's like we don't want to go into the World Cup on the back of 4 or 5 defeats, and suddenly we're kind of back under par, having now been over par and done so well to get over par, back under par. And then the questions are asked again. A result tonight would have really set us up so well, and it was there for the taking.
Look, the thing is that we have overperformed the last 6 games, as well as we have been unlucky in terms of, I think, some decisions have gone against us that could have resulted in us getting even more points than we did. You know, we haven't. I don't think we've had better XG than anyone we've played so far this season, even despite we're massively overperforming in our goals in terms of XG and creating scoring chances. We're not doing enough to create still, as far as I'm concerned, although I was hoping to see more from this game. But I firmly believe you put the 4-3-3 that we played last season against this side, we win that 2 or 3-0. And I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that if we had literally just decided, right, this is our best team, according to Parker or Gary O'Neill, this is our best team. This is the formation that the team are really used to. The patterns are prevalent all over the pitch. We know how things work. Let's go out there and let's be ourselves, and let's push our own. Let's put ourselves into this game rather than worry all about Southampton, which Gary O'Neill has done in every single game, essentially.
Every game.
I think he hasn't played the same formation at the start of any game, apart from maybe the last 2 games before this, possibly. It's that works to a point, but it works when you've got something in your opposition to worry about. There was nothing to worry about that Southampton team, and he completely overthought it.
It also lacks identity. It also lacks identity as well, John. Like, I think every game he's looked at the opposition and he's picked a team and a formation to nullify that opposition. The occasions he's probably not done that is when the game was gone at Forest and he threw the kitchen sink at it. We sort of threw a half kitchen sink at Leicester. And then the others, we sort of, we had a good game on. Yeah, we had a good game on Saturday against Fulham. A really, really good game. I saw the unchanged and I was expecting a back 4. Really surprised to see a back 3 and Fredericks on the left. And I was just like, what?
Why
and then it just went on from there, really. I mean, it's really baffling, because he's come across really well in press conferences. He really understands, or looks to understand, the club. He's been here 18 months or so now. If you understand the club, you know that, especially at home, especially against a team like Southampton, or not a Southampton. This is not a team that beats 3-0 in the FA Cup, mind. Do you know what I mean? This is a team we should be on the front foot, taking the game to them. They're 5 games without a win, 1 point in 15. We let them take the lead because the team looked unbalanced and unsettled and just didn't look comfortable.
So what's the point of keeping Moore if you're not going to bring him on with, like, you know, with more than 7 minutes on the clock? What's the point of him being in this squad? And I just still don't get the Jadon Anthony thing. I know a lot of people have been crying out for Dembele, and there's nothing against him, but Anthony's the go-to man. He's turned it around in a couple of games. You know, he look, and I just don't quite get it. But
you know what? We're probably all worried about the situation now. It's always raw reactions when we do something like this, when you do a live stream. You never know. We'll probably go and get a point at West Ham. We're probably not expecting to get anything against Tottenham. We'll go and get something against Everton, hopefully, and we'll pick up a few more points. But I hope he looks back at this, which I'm sure he does. He looks like he does approach football matches and football in that way. He looks at it quite technically from what I'm reading. So he needs to look at that and think, what did I do? What did we do? Because that was, but the thing is as well, like, it's not just on Gary O'Neill. Together with Sean Keeper and Tommy Elphick, they've decided to do this tonight, and that's just weird that 3 of them have collectively thought this is a good idea, and it's not worked out, and we've paid the price, and we've given Southampton their first clean sheet of the season. That is disappointing.
Having said that, taking a step back and looking at the game on its bare facts, we were the dominant team, effectively. I mean, it wasn't like Southampton were all over us. We were still the better team, but we were still the better team, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but we can't cross a football. But Aaron, we can't cross a football, and we can't pass the ball 5 yards. So you don't deserve anything in the Premier League if you can't do the basics.
No.
For those of you that are still with us, thank you very much for joining us on the watch along. I see a few comments here from someone joining us. Some of those joining us, Phoenix Reborn, has put through quite a few comments. So yeah, Southampton fans must love playing us. They certainly do seem to get a win every single time. And Ray Ticket here, Bournemouth not good. Yep, Tavernier and Cook, the Laurel and Hardy free kicks and corners. They weren't great, were they? Senesi did make a couple of mistakes during the first goal. And yeah, sad but true that a lot of the players really just didn't perform today at all. Comment just come through. Donna Maxwell, have we got a new manager? Well, not yet, we don't. That's for certain. A word on Southampton. I do. While, yes, I think we all agree that there was nothing to be scared of in that Southampton team. Their goal was a good bit of play from their perspective, even if our tackles weren't very good and we didn't block enough of their stuff. And they held up well defensively. They looked... I don't think we pulled them out of position much, but they certainly looked organised. Hasenhüttl substitutions worked out. And they still looked the most likely to score on the counter, even when we were pushing up. I think it's fair play to them, but, you know, Bournemouth certainly didn't help ourselves. Kirk, a final word so that I can let you get in the car and go home.
Please.
Where do you see... I mean, where do you see us going against West Ham? With given that performance, given the wild experimentation that completely backfired, with that being a very nice way of putting it, given that we're live. Where do you see us? What do you see Gary O'Neill doing for us against West Ham?
Maybe go back and watch Fulham again and take something from that game and set us up in a way to try and be more on the front foot. Now we're away from home. So yes, I'd expect us to set up, not to leave ourselves wide open, but we need to get on the ball. We need to be influential. We need to get in the final third. We need to have better quality like we did in the first half against Fulham. And if we take a 1-1 or a 2-2, it's a good result. But again, I'm sure Gary O'Neill will look at the West Ham threat and the Antonio and think about the strength that he holds and the creative players they've got and the Declan Rice in midfield. And it wouldn't surprise me, you know. I don't think West Ham are at their best this season. They've been a weird football team so far. You know, we could quite easily go there and get something. We've had some good days there. We've had some bad days there. So who knows what we're going to get from this Bournemouth team, this interim manager. But yeah, I'm sure he's disappointed by that tonight. It hasn't worked. he knew it didn't work after 15 minutes and he changed it. So he doesn't need to come out and say that it didn't work, because we saw it didn't work, and he didn't leave it for too long as he started it. So yeah,
can I just
tough
ask,
night.
Kirk, can I just quickly ask you, obviously, for being there, what was the fans' reaction? There wasn't any booing or anything at the end. Was there anything like that?
No, the atmosphere was so weird though in the first half, and I think because everyone was in a bit of shock with like seeing Fredericks on the left-hand side and seeing a back three, and yeah, I mean, obviously letting a free header go in the 6-yard box, whatever it was, through Shea Adams. It was a really strange atmosphere. It was a poor performance in the first half. We didn't really set ourselves into the game. And it was quiet. I mean, we talked about this fixture potentially being a derby. It didn't feel like a derby, guys. Like in the first half, it really, really didn't. Look, once we got on the ball, once we got on the front foot, once we got players into positive areas, into those pockets, the atmosphere came alive. And that does happen with Dean Court. It can come alive when we get on the front foot and corners, and then you get a corner and everyone's upbeat standing, then Tavernier hits the first man, and it's just that was the type of night it was. And look, I don't think we played the best game ourselves as fans in the stadium tonight, but do you know what, I think you can understand, because it was confusing. I think everyone was just a bit confused. You know, you guys seem as confused as we did in the stadium. Just a bit strange, very weird. I feel like I'm going to wake up and this is all a dream, and actually tomorrow's going to be Wednesday and I'm going to be coming here to watch the football match again. But I'm pinching myself. I think it is real, and I think we just lost 1-0 to Southampton.
We certainly did.
Right.
Thank you for coming on, Kirk. We'll let you head off because you've got to get home and get back in the warm. Wash that match out of your brain.
Match day vlog. I'm going to be up recording it, because win, lose or draw, we'll put something out for you. So check it out when it's on the channel. Hit the like button on this watch along.
Right.
Thanks for everyone who's joined, John. Cheers, guys. Cheers, Aaron.
Cheers, Kirk.
And I'll see you on the next one. Up
Cheers,
Cherries.
Kirk. Up the Cherries. See you later. Aaron, your final thoughts.
Look, it's frustrating. Maybe, you know, the reaction from all of us was a bit raw. You know, on another day we could have got some, maybe we didn't deserve it, we could have got some breaks, we could have got a shot away, could have found the net, could have all been very different. So we've got to put it behind us now. As I said, we've still a great start to the season. We just don't want to fall that below par. Tonight was one of those, probably the first game this season. Well, it was the first game this season where we got less than we probably expected, or came out certainly, you know, with nothing, because the other 3 games we've lost were against teams we didn't expect to win at all. So this is probably the first time we felt this season, because obviously the disappointment of the 9-0 at Liverpool was more the result, was more the scoreline than the result. Man City and Arsenal, as I say, you know, so this is the first time this season that, well, I guess all of us, but I've certainly felt we've lost the game, and feel a bit crappy about it, you know, because of who it is, and not even that it's Southampton. It's the fact it's a team in the relegation zone in poor form. So, and we didn't perform, but we move on. You know, as I said, as Kirk said, we could easily go to West Ham and get something. You never know. So we went to Newcastle and got something. We know we've upset the odds, and maybe being the underdog suits us better. And tonight we weren't. And we'll have less possession against West Ham. And we know this team, as it's showed at Fulham, as they've showed at Newcastle, they've showed at, you know, at Nottingham Forest. This team can go away in this league and pick up points. So let's not be too down about it. We could be Nottingham Forest after all, and Watford got tonked tonight as well, so that's always good. So yeah, no, in all honesty, it's disappointing. In isolation, it's a poor game. It's a poor game for all the reasons we've spoken about. But you know, 11 games in, 13 points. We can't be too unhappy about that.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much for joining me on this, Aaron. Appreciate your input. And yeah, we'll all get the chance to speak to you again soon. But stay safe, and thanks very much for joining.
All right, speak to you soon. Bye.
Cheers, Aaron. Bye. So, thank you so much for everyone that has joined us through. We're now almost 2 hours, 50 minutes into this live stream. Just a few bits to finish off for some comment, for just looking to see if we've got any more comments. Phoenix Reborn, all I could hear was Southampton fans in our own stadium. Yeah, I was listening in low volume, so even when the Bournemouth fans were chanting, I couldn't hear them. But I could quite comfortably hear the Southampton fans. Admittedly, that's because of where the mics are. But I could comfortably hear, despite being 1-0 up, Southampton fans were still chanting, "You're getting sacked in the morning," to their own manager. while they were winning. Further comment here. Yeah, okay, I agree. It's very frustrating. Any loss is bad, but that loss was particularly bad. Just to finish as well here, have a look at what happened in the other games that happened tonight. Obviously, there's our loss. You've got Liverpool beating West Ham 1-0. That's good for us, I suppose. In West Ham, we'll be on the back of a loss going into our game against them on Monday. And obviously, they're still below us in the table. You've also got Brentford picking up a decent point at home to Chelsea. Everton losing again, which again is another good one for us. Newcastle pushing themselves further up the table, and live at the moment is Man United getting looking like a comfortable 3 points against Tottenham. So that's an interesting one. I'll be looking forward to seeing the highlights of the other matches, not ours, but I'm sure I'll be catching up on all of those, whether that be tonight or tomorrow. So, final thoughts from me. 1-0 loss. I would like to hear some serious questions being asked of Gary O'Neill. Now, admittedly, this is very harsh in terms of you look at the success that he has had in the last 6 games. But when you do so badly in the next game that you produce a completely incorrect formation, you put square pegs in round holes, you completely give up on the formation that you were playing and have to hand a massive sheet of paper to your right wing back to go and tell people where they need to stand for the rest of the first half, you messed up. And Gary O'Neill not only set us up badly from the start, his substitutions afterwards were a baffling mix of players that have not played for us at all this season, when other established players who have performed really well for us this year and last year are sat on the bench. Those questions, I hope Chris Temple is putting in serious terms to Gary O'Neill. However, nothing against Chris. I just don't expect him to be as forceful as a lot of fans that watch that tripe would like questions to be asked. I still really like Gary O'Neill. I still want him to be involved in the club. But I think that has confirmed for me that we definitely need to wait till at least the World Cup before deciding whether we need to give him the job. And really, I don't see it happening anymore. I think we're probably going to go with this external appointment that has been reported that we're probably interested in. Quick shout out to Ahmed Shubal of Bournemouth's athletic coverer, who is going to be on the Totally Football show on Thursday, tomorrow. I imagine he was hoping to go onto that one with a little bit more positivity based on that game. But unfortunately, he's going to have to explain what the hell Gary O'Neill was trying. And I'm hoping that he'll be able to explain, because that was poor. That was almost as bad as losing 9-0 to Liverpool. At least that one, I could see it coming. This one, I definitely couldn't. Anyway, that's it for me. It's been almost 3 hours of constant coverage, so I think it's about time that I went to bed and tried to put that match completely out of my mind. Thank you very much to everyone that's watched us. Thank you, as always, to our monthly members. Thank you so much for everyone that donates any money at all to the show. If you did enjoy this show, please give us a like. Please consider subscribing if you'd like to hear more from us. We do put out regular coverage. Thank you to our monthly members, and thank you to anyone that has donated any money towards us at buymeacoffee.com/Cherries Red Army. It's a loss. It's a 1-0 defeat. It's the first one in 7. It's the first time we can genuinely question Gary O'Neill as a manager, and it's the first time that he really has something to answer for as Bournemouth's interim coach. Hopefully it's a blip, and hopefully we'll be moving on to bigger and better things going into the next match away at West Ham. regardless, get a good night's rest, people, and let's hopefully find something better awaiting us in the morning and on Monday against West Ham. Thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more Cherries coverage on the channel and up the Cherries.